What's up, Mully family? It's your boy, Matty Church from the We Are H.O.O.D Podcast, and welcome to another episode of the motherfucking Mully Podcast. Church!
Oh, man, that was nice. You know what's funny is I'm not even going to cut that. We're just going to use that right from the get-go. That made it even easier.
That was pretty good, man.
Whoa.
I like that. I felt it was the music that did it to me.
That's what it did.
It did, man. It
Oh,
did. That
man.
was awesome, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Mully Podcast. I'm your host, DC on the MIC, and I got Matty Church in the building.
Live hood and prosper.
There we go. So real quick, what is the Mully? The Mully is a podcast that we bring in business people, entrepreneurs, other podcasters, subject matter experts, right? And it is after a mullet. So business on the top, party in the back. So what we do is we talk business first, kind of talk about life and, any advice that we can give, obstacles we're facing, the adversities, tons. And then at the end, it's party time, it's party time.
He's saying that with that crazy look in his eye.
Because that's my favorite part. And then it's funny because someone's like, hey, this is like you. And I'm like, yes, this is my life. It's 10% business and 90% party. And then I messed up again. I'm supposed to have the TV in the background with the logo, whatever.
That's okay. We'll just cover it or something.
Yeah. I could just third in the logo.
Put it in the back. It's
There we go. Yeah,
because you normally have it on the TV, right?
Yeah. I'll just put the logos on it, I drop it in.
Right, it's technology, man. It's
Right.
2020. We'll just drop it in.
Right.
Drop it in.
So how you doing tonight, man?
Shit, man, I'm doing good, man. It's a long drive up the mountain into the hood. Wahiwa, we way up, man. Like I told him, it's like my temperature gauge on my truck just started notching down, like notch. I was like, damn, man, I should have brought a jacket. It was freezing up there.
Not to mention the cold AC we got in the background.
That's all good. Like I told you before, man, I don't mind if my nipples show through,
I like it. So if people don't realize,
party in the front sometimes.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
People don't realize that this grandiose studio here is actually my bedroom.
Hey, man, that's where all the magic happens.
Ooh. Don't get me started. Getting myself into trouble, bro.
Oh man, but nah, man, I'm doing good, man.
So maybe for my listeners that's coming in, like what exactly is the We Are H.O.O.D podcast?
Yeah, for sure, man. So We Are H.O.O.D. So basically, straight up front, H.O.O.D stands for helping others obtain dreams. So kind of along the same lines that we just talked about, you on your podcast. For me, anything that I can give as far as content for people, I'm a small time entrepreneur. I got my own shirts. I sell my own stuff. I put my podcast together, and I'm just somebody who's into really like connecting with people, learning new things. And for me,
nice.
that podcast. For me, is just like networking on steroids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I get to meet so many people. I've done podcasts with people who I've never even actually physically met.
That's crazy.
And
how many shows do you have up already?
This week, I will be actually on Monday. I'll be dropping. I believe it's my 27th episode.
Ooh, so we're moving along.
Yeah, I mean we're moving along. I stay steady with it. I put one out every 2 weeks right now. I put every 2 weeks. So yeah, the We Are H.O.O.D podcast, my brand is really just about, motivation, education, just trying to get people to try to live their best, and then the reality is, I'm trying to live my best and, my pitfalls, my highs, my lows, I try to feature all those things, but, for real, it's just a way to connect, man. I think, I love social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think they kind of shy away from it, or they see it in a negative way. For me, just same way hood, right? Has a negative connotation. It's really what you make of it, right? So hood for me, we are hood.
Right.
You are hood. When you childhood, you're born into hood. So we are hood, right?
I like that.
Helping others obtain dreams, and it's motherhood, fatherhood, sisterhood, brotherhood. It's all these things that make up who we are. So for me, my podcast and my platform, my Instagram, it's just all of that, man.
When you like broke that down to me, I was like blown away. Because at first I was like, man, we are hood. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But what really is this though? And then the whole acronym set up for it,
Yeah.
That like alone is to me like wow. You know?
Man. And shout out to my boy Bryson Martin. We had a conversation about 2 years ago. I was asking for his help. I was like, man, I want to do this hood thing.
Yeah.
And it started off with, just a bunch of buddies, and we were talking about it. And I always had the name hood as far as brotherhood, sisterhood, motherhood, fatherhood in my mind. And then it came up where we were like, man, we should do something like an annual thing. We had a lot of good parties, and a lot of people know us. And it was kind of like, man, like our hood, like this is our hood. We are hood. Like,
yeah.
And then I said, yeah, well, we got to come up with something that's why is it hood? And we got on a call, and it just popped out there, because he asked me, he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, man, I want to help other people. And, it literally just came on a conversation, a phone call, on a Zoom call. And that's how the name actually got to We Are Hood. So,
wow.
Yeah,
because it was we as a group.
We as a group, we are hood. That negative connotation of hood, for me, people see that and they hear that up front. But for me, I mean,
and I love the gear, man. Live, hood, and prosper, like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of born off that Spock thing, right? Like live long and prosper.
Right.
So for me, it's like, I have a really good friend, Alan Aquina, and he has a phrase that says, you can do well by doing good. So you can do well in life by doing good for others.
Oh,
right. So live hood is, to me, it's like, if you live helping others obtain dreams, you'll prosper in life.
I couldn't agree with you 100% more. Like, that is some deep shit right there.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of time to think when I'm on runs and all those things. I got a lot of time to think. I'm always thinking. I'm the type of person, like, I'm always thinking about what I'm thinking about.
So I noticed you're doing like a 25-day hood. What was it? Is it kind of like a drum off of that 75 hard?
Yeah, kind of like, so. I have one that's called 25 Hood. And man, I've been, and honestly, man, I'm real strict on myself when I do it, so I don't give myself any leeway when I hiccup. So, man, I've restarted that thing a dozen times, and it's all good, because for me, I had a conversation with a couple people who have done 75 hard and 25 hood, and just anything you're trying to do in life, and it's like, oh man, you mess up, you got to go back to day one, and it's like, hey, dog, for real, every day is day one if you on the grind. Like, there is no end to whatever you're doing. And like, the people who really make it to the next level or whatever they're trying to do in life, they always look at themselves like, I'm on day one all the time. So for me, it's more 25 hood similar to 75 hard, because I fuck with Andy Frisella, man. He's the man, dude. I met him in real life too at Thrive.
Oh yeah, we're just talking about that.
Yeah,
nice.
dude. Hey, and homie is legit. Dude.
Oh yeah,
like he's the type, like, he walk into the room and you're like he a somebody. Like he's a big dude. He's a big personality. But that 25 hood kind of on the tail end of a 75 hard, where it's not just about sticking to your diet. It's just not sticking to doing your workout, but we add things in there like just to get you past that discipline, right? Reading 10 pages a day.
Well, that's the thing, is consistency, right? People can't grind consistently. I fall all the time. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
For sure.
You just got to keep that positive mindset and push through that.
Yeah, man. And you know what? For me too. And I'll be honest with people. And me and you talked about this, and how for my podcast and my brand is real, like push.
Oh, it's hard, man. It's
man. And I'm starting to curtail some of that, because just evolution of who I am, right?
Yeah.
And if it's any one thing that I know is like, you can have a positive mindset, but you gotta have a realistic mindset too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta sometimes look at yourself and be like, shit, man, you ain't holding yourself accountable, right? I
can attest to that. Big time. Big time.
And I'm just the same as everybody else, but I think a lot of people they want that aspect of everything is like positive or only positive, and it's like, hey man, sometimes you got to look at yourself and be like, shit, man, you fucking it up, what I mean? And that sometimes you got to me, the only person that if you kick your own ass, life can't kick you harder. You know what I'm saying? And that's
exactly, because you can't
prepping yourself for
you can't have a victim mentality when you're already on top of your game and pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself to begin with.
Exactly. And that victim mentality, man, that to me, I posted that before too, man. That's like we talk about pandemic, epidemic, man. That's another thing, man. I see people posting stuff all the time about that, and the hard thing is, like, there are people who are truly victims, and I'm gonna say this: there's people who are truly victims, and like shit happens to them that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And to me, man, when you posting stuff that's just about like always victimizing yourself, man, you watering that down, man. And there's some people who really are in situations that they can't fucking help. You know what I mean? But if you can help it, you got to get it. You got to get out of it.
And that's the thing is a lot of it deals with clout, right? People want that attention. They want people to, woe is me, like, oh, and look, everybody deserves a little bit once in a while, like to help push it up. But when you go out and ask for it, then like that's like, to me, it's just weak.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm weak. I mean, I've been weak. I'm trying not to be weak.
Yeah, for sure.
There's been a ton of times, and my closest cousins, they all know, man. They've seen me at my darkest.
Right.
And man, and people even think I might be bipolar, and I don't know, because sometimes I ride this high that is high.
Yeah.
And then I'm on this like low of low.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's just things that I've done to myself, and you know, I was in the nightlife before, heavy,
right,
MC'd, and you know, when you're out there, you're partying, you're putting things in your body, and I think that messes up your brain chemistry. You know, the wiring of it just doesn't work right anymore.
Yeah, you know what though? I think, you know, and this is just my opinion. I think, man, at a certain level, we all have some kind of mental, I don't want to say issue or instability, but everybody's dealing with fucking something, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody's dealing with something, and they deal with it in their own ways. And the reality is, you know, however you deal with it, you got to give and take. Something's going to give if you have to deal with something out of the ordinary. And then the reality is just trying to be balanced as much as you can. Yeah. And, you know, I'm very much the one, and that's why, you know, talking about is like trying to curtail how hard I try to hit it all the time. It's like, it's not sustainable for me. And, you know, just trying to stay balanced with it. But, you know, that's why I bring people on the podcast. For me, podcasting, when I said it's like networking on steroids, is, man, the original reason why I fell in love with podcasting is I listened to one of my homeboys' podcasts, and shout out to Voices from the Planet. And one of my first introductions into listening to podcasts was with Voices from the Planet. He had one of our friends on, Daniel, and they were just talking about him going to do ayahuasca in like South America.
Why?
Yeah, he went to like South America and did ayahuasca. Right.
Really?
So yeah, him coming back and kind of telling that story. And I remember listening to it. And for me, I'm a converser, and I like to. I'm an opinionative guy, which is not always the best thing. So the one thing that I loved about podcasts was, there's about 40 other people who's watching this podcast. Goes, yeah, man, we know. But it was beautiful because our friend Daniel and my boy Eric, who runs Voices from the Planet, and one of our other friends, Chris Knight, I had to listen to it, and I couldn't have an opinion on it. So it was me, the idea of me just being on my run and listening to these other people's opinions.
And you couldn't say a damn thing. I couldn't
interject. I had to absorb it. I was forced.
And you knew them too.
Yeah, I know them, right? I mean, but that's kind of what got me started on podcasting. And then, so for me, when I do my podcast, man, I love listening to other people's stories, and I love learning from everybody. Everybody got a story, and that's one of the things that I always say is somewhere. And if you're listening to this and you're watching this podcast, and you want to do something in your life, and you want to change somebody's life, just realize that somewhere, someone you don't know and you may never meet needs to hear how you fucking triumphing over whatever you're going through. And I
remember when you messaged me that, I was like,
man.
damn,
yeah, and
that's powerful shit.
And that's some real shit, man. Like, and the thing is that you may not get 1 million followers. But you don't need 1 million followers, man.
Right.
You just need to change somebody's life.
Exactly. Just one person that you can bring up out of the gutter, or just change that mindset. Dude, that's a win.
Yeah. And how many things have we listened to from somebody that we don't even know, or maybe never met, and been like, damn, and that was the seed, and that was a spark that
100%.
changed the trajectory, even if it's for a day, man.
100%.
So
my favorite author is John Gordon. I post on him all the time. I preach about him. The book, The Energy Bus, dude, that changed my life.
Right.
It's about a guy who's just negative. Everything's going wrong. He gets a flat tire going to work. Then he has to ride the city bus to go to work, right? And he's just like, bro, like, for real? And then bus driver Joy. And that's what it is. She brings joy, right?
Yeah.
This new perspective.
Right.
And it was super dope. Was I messaged them on Instagram one day, not thinking anything, and he replied.
No shit.
Yes, and then so now, like, if I post something, he'll like it. Like, if I put a story and tag him, then he'll like the story.
Right.
Or I'll say something, he'll reply
That's
back.
dope, man.
Dude, and that's what I shout out to John Gordon. That guy, like, I have like all the books. He just put out another one, Relationship Grit. That's the next one I want to read because
Right.
the things that I've gone through, I
Right,
think that's going to be a really good one for me. Well, I'll tell you, I was a selfish man when it came to relationships, and
Yeah.
it took a long time for me to realize that, and but sometimes people are better off, I don't know, doing it a different way, and who knows what life entails, and when a blessing of someone else comes into your life, and it's
For sure.
it's pretty cool, man. That's why 2020 has been a pretty crazy year, right? For obviously a number of reasons.
Yeah, man.
But like when you and I talked about it, it's to me, it's been actually a phenomenal year in growth.
Yeah. I mean, that cliche, right? 2020 vision. That was kind of like a thing that in the latter end of 2019, everybody's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna crush 2020, 2020 vision, right? And
I was hashtagging that too.
I hashtag that shit too. And I think what it is that 2020 vision, man, for me, and we talked about this, is it showed us we thought that we had the vision. Like, you thought you had the vision, like, oh, you had the vision of what you wanted it to do. And it's like 2020 showed you, one, all the things that you had and you should have been appreciative of. And two, sometimes the vision you think you have, man, is clouded in your ego, and it's clouded in your ideas of what you want to provide for yourself
versus
other people.
Yes.
And I think for me, and I'm not perfect either. And again, we talk about like authenticity and about who we are truly, right? And I said this on my podcast once about authenticity, is that it's always growing. It's like the Big Bang, man. It's constantly expanding, and it's always enveloping new things. And I think the other thing with my authenticity and who I'm trying to grow into is having a better relationship with my ego. People think about ego, and people think like, oh, that's your ego. You got a bad ego. Well, why don't you build your ego?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your ego does not have to be negative.
It doesn't have to be a negative thing, as long as that ego is not what's controlling or driving who you are, man. You drive that ego. So, 2020 for me, it stripped a lot of things away. Dealing with challenges in life and dealing with, the whole COVID-19 and coronavirus and, just so many things. But, if anything, what it did was, for me, like I said, man, it stripped a lot of things away. It knocked a lot of things off of the table, and it said, hey, man, you got to get back to basics, man.
Yeah.
And really focus on who you are in a more simpler manner,
It's funny because like everyone knows I'm a sneakerhead, right? Like I post a lot of sneakers. I'm always rocking new kicks all the time.
And you got Jordan 11 Legos.
Right.
Man. I mean, I thought it was a space shuttle, but I was like, hey, that's Jordan. By the way, if you're a real sneakerhead, that's one of the holy grail sneakers right there, man. That's actually one of the best Jordans that there ever were. Like, legit to play ball in, because that when you flip it on the bottom, it's got clear bottoms. Those clear bottoms had grip like a motherfucker, man.
Whoop.
They were one of the best. I balled in those before, but yeah, man.
Yeah, the 11s were my fave. I think 4s and 3s are kind of now, but so then I started selling them. I started getting rid of some of my sneakers, and
Yeah.
I was trying to go. We'll touch base on one of our homies, Jason Roundtree, that we both know. Right?
Yeah.
So he went he was telling me about like, hey, have you seen like living minimalist, like a minimalist lifestyle?
Yeah, man.
And that means that all these Funko Pops and all that's got to go, because really that's most of it's obviously for my son who's 7 and he loves it. So I'm like, that's excuses for me, right, to get it. And I am a diehard. You see the Boba Fett helmet up there.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I
was gonna bring it down, but I figured now I'll save that. But yeah, getting into that minimalist, like that's what 2020 did for me. I realized that I have way too much garbage, things that I don't even need. So I just started donating, like all the clothes I don't use anymore. I'm just donating it, right?
Yeah, right, man.
And there's this girl that I really want to get on the show as well, and she's into thrifting and things of that nature, because that's heavy in recycling, right? All these stuff's going in the compost and just waste.
Right.
When we can give it to somebody else, and then
Right.
they can live through those blessings, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's what opened up for me, and then not having to work. I'm in the gym industry, so we got shut down, right? So gyms are first to close, last to open, and the reason for that is it does not pump enough money into the economy, right?
Yeah.
Small businesses don't either. That's why the big corporations get to stay open. They've they're paying for it, and
That's a whole other damn podcast about why they shut down.
Yeah, I know, man. And so for that, I was like, man, I'm not making money this year.
Right.
And I have to learn how to live off of nothing. And luckily for me, I live with my roommates. So mom and dad. But I say that like this is the third time ever. Living with my roommates, and so that they hooked it up. But like now that things are rolling, and it forced this though. I've been talking about this, bro, for over 2 years.
Yeah, man.
Talk, and then I have no time. And well, shit ain't doing nothing during the pandemic, right?
Yeah. Hey, man, I started mines in the pandemic too, man, for sure.
Right. And because I was like, hey, we got this time. Like,
Yeah.
I can do the things I want. And a lot of people did with that time. Not a damn thing. They just sat at home, ate, got fat. Like, hey, I'm not saying like, I'm just saying like you could have used that time a little more wisely. Maybe
for sure.
Maybe got a certificate online, because they were doing student loans for like they were giving out things just to stimulate the economy.
Was the minimalist idea before the podcast?
It was after. It was after. So I did the failed attempts, I should say. Then I was like, F it, dude. I'm just not going to do it at the podcast anymore. And I was like, you know what? Like, why am I being a bitch? Like, you know what? I just invested all this time and energy and knowledge learning, like what the, equipment, boom, what this, how to noise cancel, how to edit. And I'm a geek when it comes like that. I used to do photography, and I got heavy into that.
Right.
And then so me and Jason were talking, and he was like, "Oh, like, hey, have you seen this show on YouTube or Netflix?" And I was like, So one night I'm like, all right, my son falls asleep, so I turn it on, and I was like, then I was inspired. I'm looking around, so like at 1 o'clock in the morning, like I'm like pulling stuff off, like, okay, I don't need this.
Yeah. But you know what though, like, a lot of times these outwardly things, right? For me, I'm a minimalist. Also, I'm a minimalist by heart, by like that's how I was raised, like not to have a lot of things. And a lot of times people, they acquire these things, and for me, what I realize is the more we're cluttered up here and in here, the more we have all this excess shit around us. Also,
I like that.
So in a way, and that's why, like, for me, the less you need, the more you can give. The less you want, the less you need, the more you can do. Because you're not trying to sustain all these other things, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, maybe that switch went off in you when you was like, I don't need all this bullshit. Now I got more time, and I can really focus on all this other shit.
Right. And that's really what I want to do. Like, so I've, I picked up another gig from work, in finance too.
Right.
And I'm looking at like the time spent to build that business compared to, I mean, I love what I do in the gym, don't get me wrong, but it's just, I'm there a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if I could make the same money, if not more, or even sustain it, but then I have all this extra time to do this, be with my son, because I would love, when things get normal again, I want to coach.
Right.
I want to coach. I want to be a part of the sports aspect and the family thing. And so when I look at it that way, it's kind of like, what's really important. I think that's what this year's really done for people, has made them realize the importance. And I think that if there wasn't, I know we talked about, you don't really talk about current events, but if there wasn't this huge current event that's going on in every 4 years in November,
right,
the election, like, I think that this year might have even been a lot more clear-headed for people too.
Right.
There wouldn't have been all this other noise that went on. I think that we could have united harder, and I think that's where people, like you said, people need to put ego aside. And
yeah, man, and it's it's hard because there's a relationship between both, and I hate to keep touching back on that minimalism thing, but there's another book that you should read called Essentialism. So minimalism is, right, having less things, right? Essentialism is doing only things that are truly essential to what you want or need. And one of the things when I think about what you're saying about being a minimalist, it switched on this idea for me also about like doing the essential things, because now you're minimizing the bullshit that you're doing. But another thing that goes into the minimalism is I had a friend tell me, he said, we were talking about a podcast, and one of the podcasts said, you don't rise to your hopes and dreams, you fall to your habits. So when you are a minimalist and you live a lifestyle of maximizing what you're doing, when you can't give 100%, because we can't always give 100%. When we add our baseline, if your baseline is a successful baseline, then you're always going to be successful. So a lot of people, because we all have these tendencies, we're in so many places and our energy is going in so many directions, whether it's with products or having different things or what we do, that's our habit. So when you can minimize it, like you were saying, that gives you more time to focus on the things that you really want to do, because this right here is your habit now. You know what I mean? Your habit is pumping out podcasts. Your habit is networking to get people on.
Yeah. I need to get someone in, right? Every the weeks that I don't have my son, like the goal is, right, not to be recording just a Friday. It's at least 2 to 3 times. That way the content's ready to go out.
Exactly.
Versus
man.
I'm chasing, right?
Exactly.
We talked about that too.
Exactly. And that's how people live their lives, is they're chasing. They're trying to keep up. And again, it goes into, are you trying to rise to those hopes and dreams?
Yeah.
No, you fall to your habits. So you got to raise your habits.
So going into that, right? So going into raising the habits and the content setting with that, like every day, right? I mean, you are living hood every single day.
I try.
Like on your Instagram, on your social media, right? What you're doing, like how much energy does that take? And is it now is it just habitual, or compared to like when you first started? Like where did the concept come for that?
For me, I've coached high school sports. I was in the military. I always had kind of like,
I didn't know you were in the military.
Yeah, man. I used to be in the Army Guard. I did 6 years in the military.
Okay.
Army National Guard, did 6 years. And, I've always been around, I've always had people who are good leaders to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had good examples, my parents, my grandparents. I had a lot of good friends and family, and a lot of long conversations over drinks, man, late nights on the streets and in the corners and in houses, and all these things and these knowledges that I was able to acquire over all these years, right? And long story short, people call me Matty, and I'm always talking some shit, so it became like, oh man, I used to say like church after something, right? Like
because you're preaching.
Because I'm preaching, like, man, church. So people call me church, and I just feel like I have a lot of things in my mind, different perspectives, and it's not that I want to impose my perspective on people, but I want to hear other people's perspective.
Sure.
So for me, like I said, man, I've had a lot of good people in my life introduce me to new ideas and new things. And, if it's anything that I realize is local people, man, we have so much talent, and we have
a shitload of talent, man.
Yeah, man. And we got something that I don't think a lot of people are innately born with, but we as local people are. And that's like that fucking never giving up quality, man. Like, we're fighters here in Hawaii. Like, that's naturally
when you think about it, right? Like the cost of living here is so damn high.
Yeah.
But yet it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna grind, and then we're gonna spend that money too.
Yeah.
Like, so I work for AT&T, 24 Hour Fitness, UFC gyms, all these big corporations. And what's crazy is, and maybe even with you and your job, like, is your region like always like in the top? For production? Always.
Yeah,
Hawaii always produces.
Yeah.
Because people are spending money.
And
even though the cost of living side, it's like,
and I think it's just our innate nature to want to do it the best that we can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know you work in customer service, and like, you don't gotta teach customer service like to local people who live a local style, man.
Right. When you live aloha, it's just that's what it is.
Exactly. So for me, We Are Hood is, I've been introduced to so many things from so many good friends, and all these conversations and all these different bits and pieces of knowledge. And I'm just like, man, we need to spread that, man, because, it is hard to live in Hawaii. So much expensive things, and, but, we still have a bit of that mentality that, like, we don't deserve these other things. Like, no, that's for other people. Like, fuck you mean that's for other people?
Yeah, no,
man.
That's hammer on the nail right there. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
We have this inert nature to work hard, take care of our families, but yet we don't deserve
anything
to
more
win.
than just that.
Yes.
Like, that's just
the
it.
complacency. It's like, no, this is how it is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think a lot of times it's like, there's a famous picture that they always post on the internet, and if you into motivational stuff on the internet, they always post this one picture. It shows these guys underground, and there's like the dirt is here, and they're digging for diamonds. And there's this one cat who's turning around, and he's so close to the diamond, and there's another guy who's under him who's just continuing to dig. And I'm like, we work so hard, but we don't realize that we're working harder than we have to. And, a lot of people who are super successful, they've gotten a gain of knowledge. They've got a better way to do it. And we can have those things, man.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is that what we already have innately as local people, you can't teach. You ain't going to read that shit in the book.
No.
You know what I mean? You can read like Grant Cardone, 10X. You can read, all of these books that talk about grind. But for us, we have it already.
Yeah.
It's just an innate thing.
You see how many high school football athletes make it into college right now?
Yep.
There's tons.
Yeah.
Tons. Like, my boss at work, Kimo Luna, he's like, hey, how come this game's not on? It's UCF. That's the quarterback from Mililani. Get up, get on there.
Exactly.
Right, and make sure that we have it on the TV screens in the gym, because hey, guess what? Yeah, those are local boys that celebrate all of those wins.
Yeah, for sure, and that's why for me, like I said, man, I just try to put it out there, and I'm trying to grow my brand to be something that when people can listen to it, they're hearing it from somebody who's from Hawaii, a local boy, who got family down here, who makes mistakes like everybody else, but has been fortunate to meet people who have taught me different things and help open my mind. And I think, there's we can live so much better life in Hawaii. And, keeping on a real, like, even on some basic level shit, like, I'm Hawaiian, and, about, not having a housing or buying land. It's like, damn, we got to just play the game. And we can figure out this game, and there's people who already have, and we can start buying houses and building wealth and security for our families in the future. And that's really what it's about. But man. So We Are Hood. I put out stuff on a daily as much as I can. Just recently I took a little bit of a break just to clear myself. I always want to recalibrate. But that's really what it's about, man. Just trying to share that knowledge with people and give them a perspective and let them know, like, hey, man, just get up every day and, like you said, stay consistent, and it's gonna happen, man.
Right.
But you don't rise to your hopes and dreams. You fall to your habits. So our habits have to be as impeccable as it can be, man.
Like this is like a deep show today, and that's really what I wanted to touch into. Is, I said it's business and party, but these are things that people need to hear.
Yeah.
It's life is not easy. It's not, but we don't have to overcomplicate it and make it worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, take away the noise, take away the distractions, find out your why, right? Why are you even here?
Yeah.
And I'm a religious guy, tomorrow morning after this, like, we're doing a food drive, and that's the stuff that gets me pumped. Like,
yeah, man, me too, dog. I love that shit, man. We just shout out to Sleep Time is Over. If you guys are watching,
I was just gonna talk about that. Yes,
yeah,
Sleep Time, man.
Sleep Time. Like we went. Man, this dude, I give him credit, man. He's one of the guys who literally he did an interview with the TV. The news, and they were like, yeah, so it is all. He's like, no, literally, it's just like a grassroots. Like, we have the telethon, which he did, and he raised, I don't think it was like $8,000, dude.
Yeah.
And literally on Thanksgiving Day, because they were out by Kaka'ako Park, and I drove down there.
Yes.
And they had like 100 turkeys, and we handed out 100 turkeys.
That's crazy.
Like, legit. People were just driving by, and there was about 10 of us in a tent set up, and they had coolers full of pre-cooked turkeys.
Just handing them out.
Mashed potatoes, vegetables.
And that's what's up.
Yeah, man.
And he's from the fitness industry too. And
Yeah,
the
for
club he's
sure.
at, like they closed down. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like, but the platform that he's building, like, I mean, that's what it is, man. And that's what it is. People like us, we have to stay connected and keep it going. And that's the big thing too, is
Yeah.
like we talked about that. Like, oh, it's not like you told me when you was like, oh, you're doing a podcast. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, it's like, oh, hell no. Someone
Yeah.
else is doing one. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
like
man.
no.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing, just again, to touch on social media, for me, social media is what you make it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I had one of my friends on my podcast, Napples. Napples repped Everyday Better t-shirt. So I'm like, what is that Everyday Better thing? He's like, oh man, Everyday Better, it's a brand, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. So I have Everyday Better on my podcast. And then I'm looking at Everyday Better, and it's like, what is this Sleep Times Over thing? So I'm connecting with all these people who are legitimately just trying to help other people. And
Right.
I'm like, dog, like,
And when that's what your brand is.
and that's what's on my feed, man. It's like, if you guys got negative shit on your feed, don't complain about it. Unfollow people and follow the people who are doing
it's
a good
funny you
thing,
said
man.
that. So today at the gym, I had a conversation with Mark. That's Mr. Me in Hawaii.
Right.
And we talked about his platform and how, there's, if you look at it, there's never anything negative on there.
Right.
There's not even swearing on there.
Right.
Like, and that's what separates him. And he and I got to talk. I didn't even realize the Lahore grad, and, connected and like, man, this is a good guy.
Yeah.
And using that platform for good. And
Right.
that's really what it boils down to is,
Yeah.
my show has swearing and, it's Howard Sternish, and Joe Roganish. But I mean, the whole point is the beginning half. And a lot of times is people don't even probably listen to the whole damn thing. They listen to parts and then they're like, eh.
Yeah.
But if they can get at least a positive business side in the beginning
Yeah.
and then stick around for the fun,
Yeah.
then I'm just telling you, the fun's fun.
It's coming.
Right. The guy that doesn't smile is smiling tonight, man.
There you go, man. There you go. But for real, man, and that's why, like, even this, like, I don't know, I've known you probably close to 20 years when back way in the early days of 24-hour fitness Mililani.
Yeah.
And like we've seen each
Holy
other for
shit, it
years
has been
in
that
passing. Like, what's up, DC? Like, we was out in the clubs back in the days.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Like, we see each other, but like, because of social media and because of this platform of podcasting, and because he looks at my platform and he's like, hey, Matt's on some good shit. And then I'm like, hey, man, you doing a podcast too? Hell yeah. We in his house recording a podcast, dog. Like, I mean,
Right.
And it's like, people got to realize, man, again, shout out to Coach Micah B. I'm shouting a lot of people out just because of the love, man. I did the podcast with Coach Micah B, and we were talking about this too. And he's like, it's like a diet, man. He's like, with a diet, you got to get nutrient-dense food. You got to get nutrient-dense, healthy food. He's like, it's the
Right.
same thing with your mind. If you on your social media, you need to consume positive, dense.
Yeah. I had to unfollow
thoughts.
certain hashtags because,
Yeah.
dude, I was getting way too deep into the political aspect at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, it was like good. And then like,
Yeah.
dude, I just like drank one night. Like, so the night that I did my first podcast, well, that never aired. So recorded it, and then I'm outside drinking, editing it, and then I got so wasted, I'm like passed out outside. And my roommates are like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm editing video." It was, and I wasn't even drinking, and then like every other night, I started drinking again.
Yeah.
Just fall into that other pattern,
yeah,
right?
yeah, for
That's what you're
sure.
saying. Like, and it was a lot of it because I was consuming all of this like negativity from social media, like
Right.
this, and the elites and all these things, and I'm like, man, like it just started to consume
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, why? Like, and to be honest, like, I'm just gonna let you know, like, the person you voted for does not know your name. He's not gonna come tell you, hey, thanks for voting for me.
Yeah, they don't even come down here and like do their rounds over here. They go to the swing states. And
Exactly, right. And by the way, it's the senators and the House. Those are the ones that make the difference, man.
Yeah,
Like,
man. I mean, and that's why I made I posted on my social media about like, okay, so you vote for them, but did you vote for yourself? Like, the other thing too is like, I got family and friends who I love dearly, who I completely disagree with their political stance, but I love them and I want them to win. And I think there's just far too much polarization. And what they got to realize is like, man, if you do social media studying and you study into social media and you study into even podcasting or TV, they polarize on purpose. Like that's the way they want it because they either want
because they know
want
emotions.
And they want they want their love. They want the people who love them to follow them, and they want the people who hate them to hate them so much that they comment and follow.
Yeah,
them anyway.
they can't stop talking about them.
Yes, exactly.
Man,
and that's all it is.
can we touch up on like it's a touchy subject, but can we touch up about the radio guys, man? Like,
yeah, man. You know, I'll be honest. You know, when they said that, you know,
right? So you got Crazy and
yeah,
like, with the whole Paulo Fuga thing,
yeah,
right?
You know,
and
definitely,
then Slick Vic, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, a bad choice for them to say what they said.
I agree.
So what? Here's the stance that I took, right? Because people were on there, and people are entitled to their opinion, man. And whether you believe that they should have been fired or they should have been this, they should have been that, and they should have been all these other things. I posted on there, I said, when I looked at Paula Funga, she was not posting and going ballistic on these folks.
No, not at all.
She didn't feed into the negativity of it. The other thing is like, I'm seeing people post all these things and they're ranting.
And there was like a lot of hate comments.
Crazy hate. And I was just like, hey, man, I get it. Because some people may have really direct connection with that particular situation
in their personal life.
Yes,
right.
The thing that I was posting, I said, "Hey, man, some of you guys are the same people, not the people who maybe have been homeless, but there's some people who are posting on there about they should get fired, they should get this, they should get that." And it's like, hey, man, you guys be reposting them hungry Hawaiian videos about people teasing homeless people also on your social media.
Right. So I wanted to put so bad, and I refrained from it. Was he who is without sin can cast the first stone.
Oh, you literally posted that.
So I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right. And then I thought, like, I'm just going to feed into that negativity.
Yeah.
Or someone's going to comment on it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, days later, they did their apology. And then it made sense, right? The radio station want them to comment, like, you know, immediately. And so now they had the freedom to do so. And it takes a big person to apologize.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, especially when they are in the heavy limelight that they are in.
And it took a bigger person not to lash out, which is what that artist did.
Right.
Which was
Paula
to me,
did very. I was very
like,
professional,
dang, man. Like she spoke her point. She said, "Man, that's some bully type shit."
Right, but that was it.
And then she said, "You know what? I gotta go." And she
segued out of it.
And then
because
even later on in the next days, she wasn't hammering on social media and like posting videos and crazy
and everybody
stuff.
wanted her to.
Yeah,
because that's what I
It's
feel like the
cancel
media wanted
culture,
to.
right?
Right,
Cancel
exactly.
culture.
Like, come on, say it, so
Yeah.
we can just all start throwing stones at these guys.
Yeah, man. And you know what? The reality is, you know, I try to stay away from trying to throw stones at people just because I'm not perfect, man. I mean, I
am far from.
Yeah,
bro.
man. I mean,
far from.
if
I just had to touch
social
on it
media was
because-
around when we were in our 20s.
Oh man, I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, we'd either be really famous or really in jail.
Yes, that's 1,000% because I would have been posting some crazy stuff,
yeah,
man.
I did some stuff, but I'm glad you brought that up, man. I'm glad you brought that up because you know, with social media, you know, I was having this conversation with one of my homies, the same thing, and he was like, "Man, some people need to scroll back on their feeds, man, for like years, and some of them, you know, people post stuff like all the time about like the drug addict in the front of their car, or you know, the homeless people dancing on the bus stop. It's like, you know, and again, nobody's perfect, but that's why he who is without sin cast the first stone, and just let her, whoever had to deal with it directly, you know, deal with that in particular. But I mean, you know, that's just the way the culture is now. People are a little bit more hypersensitive about certain things, and definitely homelessness is not something to joke about. You know, I did a podcast with Alea Bridge, and Alea Bridge works here in Wahiawa. So if you ever want to connect with somebody and do some good shit, guys, with somebody from Wahiawa, it's Alea Bridge. They do really good work over here. And one of the things that I remember her mentioning, and this sticks into my head, is homeless folks, right? One, a lot of them, they're just like us. Some of them have jobs. Some of them had jobs. And One of the things she said, one of two things was, one, sometimes life kicks you down, but for some people, life keeps kicking, and like we've all drank or done drugs, and we're lucky we didn't do the wrong one that spiraled out of control.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or however, we didn't do the wrong one, and then that night our friend died, or some crazy shit that happened that could spiral you out. One. And two, she said this, and I was like, man, that really hits hard. Is these people who are homeless, they got to wear their mistakes like a billboard on their shirt. Like, we can judge them because they're homeless. It's like, oh, they fucked up. They did this, they did that. It's like, hey, bro, a lot of what they did, we did the same shit,
right.
man.
Just something.
We just got lucky, and we had family that we could fall back on, or we didn't take that wrong pill that one night at Mai Tais, and we didn't spiral out of control.
Right.
You know what I mean? We maybe had the right people around us at the right time. There's so many things, and that's just
that's some heavy shit right there.
And
man.
that's why, like, I know on the radio they have that shock culture about saying the funniest things, and it's just like, man, I think they just got caught up in it. And I feel bad for their families, because their wives and their kids, they got to deal with the ramifications of that too.
100%.
But I think that artist, she did a really good job about not feeding into it. And if you really notice, shout out to her, because it it happened, it spiked,
and then it kind of went away.
And she was I think she even said, like, I'm going back to go talk with them at the radio station. I mean, hey, that's some adult shit right there. And that's a hard, bitter pill to swallow. And again, some people who maybe have been saying, like, they should have got fired and all this stuff, they may have had really deep inner ties to that situation, and they're entitled to their opinion. But for people who maybe were just throwing stones from far away, man, that teaches some of the young cats on social media, that wrong style to do it, man.
I agree. Yeah, that was a heavy one, and I had to talk about that. We're talking about social media and just the ramifications of what can happen from it, and things that you say and do. Like that's the culture that we live in this age.
Yeah.
That's why I love the '80s, man.
When nothing was recorded.
That's why this podcast is like a mullet, man. It's the '80s, like,
yeah, for sure.
All I remember was like watching MTV when MTV actually played music. You remember that? Yeah. I don't think people know it. Oh, MTV, yeah, music television.
Yeah, they had videos with.
Do you know why though that MTV played a ton of like European artists? So like like Flock of Seagulls and I Run, and like all of the songs, Don't You Forget About Me. Those are all European bands, right? Really? It's because they were making music videos and American artists were not.
Right.
And then if you even look at it, American artists, like, they just kind of stood there and then didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then even the African American artists, there was only white people.
Right.
Because they weren't even making videos.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, they had like the old school, like the Motown and all like that kind of stuff back in the day, like Temptations. But then when it became a thing, like, they just weren't recording it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when things like started to change, and then that's when then Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
That's when he blew up because he started making like these like cinema things, right?
Yeah, that was good.
Dude, I mean, I don't really care for her anymore, but man, Madonna in the '80s. Woo!
Yeah, man.
Dude, Material Girl, I was like, damn, that chick is fine.
I became a man watching Madonna videos.
Like, oh,
yeah,
man.
Is
that?
Yeah, the '80s were good. The '80s were good, but yeah, I'm a '80s baby. That's telling our age right there. I remember the bubblegum cigarette can. You blow it in, the puff come out.
Right.
And big league chew.
Big league chew. Right. Man. And like those things.
And it was like dip. That's what you were basically
doing. You were
Mimicking.
dipping and smoking
cigarettes
with candy.
Yeah, from the Monopool, man.
Oh, they were setting us up, man, because that's what it was back then. That was legal marketing. And then like things happened, and they couldn't do that shit no more.
Yeah,
right?
man. And you mad about them marketing the damn e-cigarettes now, man? We was messing with that off a big chew and a bubble stick.
Right.
Oh man, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, but no. But again, going back to the social media thing, even taking the social media thing back to the minimalist and essentialist. It's like, man, you don't have to follow every hashtag. You don't have to follow every famous person. And you know what? I actually started unfollowing some famous people. I'm going to tell you why. I started unfollowing this because their perspective is completely different from what ours is, man.
Oh, 1,000%.
That's a new word. We just making shit up over here on the Mully.
1,000%.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? That was a good perspective.
Yes.
But yeah, man, their perspectives are way out there. They're different from us. And for me, man, like I really want to connect with people on my social media now. And I've really been following people who they got to either be giving like really, really poignant content. But I'm not following like, and nothing against all these famous people. It's just that, you know, I mean, their perspectives change at that high level.
Oh yeah, they have no clue.
Yeah.
You know, you're living in multi-million-dollar mansions, $100 million mansions.
Yeah.
You're being served. You know, you have people working for you. You're on movie sets or touring.
Yeah.
You don't know what a normal person.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
And
it could have been, but they lost perspective.
Yeah, and not by any fault of their own, but I mean, perspective changes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
right. Like
and the world changes so fast. You know what I mean? That just if you have a $100,000 a year job and you live a particular way, you know, in 10 years, $100,000 a year job is not going to be anything near of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah. The world changes so drastically.
Right.
Yeah.
It's right, especially if you've been doing that same thing for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like now you're just like
It evolves.
yeah, and you haven't.
Yeah.
You know, or you've just gone too high so fast that you're like
Yeah.
it's just there's no and that's why like have you seen the Rogan Miley Cyrus one podcast?
Not all of it.
I actually liked it because they started digging into it, and like he kept talking about like it was drugs, and she was like, just partying, and I get it, you know,
Yeah.
because she does like kid fans, but like she wanted to like her thing was that she wanted to like write a book about doing like drugs, but like doing it the safe way or something. And it was kind of cool, like responsibly doing it,
Right.
And I thought about that, and I was like, man, that's like because that's some real stuff, because we do get like this, you know, as a child, it's everything is great and grand.
Right.
Then you get into high school and like whoa, or intermediate. I think intermediate was like the worst. I think I was a dork until high school, but intermediate is when things happen. Like YHO intermediate at my time, man, that's when people got into gangs and started like smoking weed and fighting.
Yeah, definitely.
They're trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
And then when you got to high school, then, you know, people kind of just went, they started playing sports. Then you had the surfers. Then you had just the stoners, you know, like.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's what it is. People don't realize these things, and they're like, oh, you know, that'd be kind of cool. Like you write this book, but can you imagine reading like your 10-year-old child? Hey, when you go out to the club.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't drop the E with the vodka. Liquor before beer in the clear.
Right.
Beer before liquor, never sicker.
When they say
Chapter 2.
when they're waiting for lines in the bathroom, that's not the line you're thinking about.
Exactly. Make sure whatever they're putting the cocaine on is a clean surface and has been sterilized. Use your own straw or your own dollar bill. All the safety aspects.
Right now, and especially now with COVID, right?
Yeah. How to do coke in COVID. Stupid.
Like that's why I was like kind of like when you said that, the perspective, but because it went into, she was saying how the media, how she is feeding into the media, like she's dating someone, but then by the time the story gets published, because they take forever, right, to publish it.
Right.
Whereas podcasts, you can get it out quick, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like 6-7 months later, and they're not even together anymore.
Right.
And then now it makes her look like, you know, and then Rogan's like, he's like, F him, fuck him, like who cares? Like why are you even letting that bother you?
Yeah.
But even for them, it does, you know. And what do you think that drives them to go off the hinge and do all these things?
Yeah,
right?
and you know what? To speak on that perspective is, you know, on the same way that, you know, Dwayne Johnson or Miley Cyrus or Joe Rogan doesn't know what it's like to be, you know, the two of us sitting in Wahiwa
right
on a freaking Friday after Thanksgiving, drinking coconut water. And,
So I'm drinking Mountain Beach. So if that's what thing real quick is, if you notice you can't see, dang it. But every show I drink a new beer, something crazy. I just grab something off the shelf that's a different and try it out. I'm Mountain Beach Breckenridge Brewery, bright and tart with pineapple, lime, and guava.
Yeah. And I'm drinking Vi Coco because I don't drink. And I was gonna drink kombucha, but I'm getting old, so too much caffeine in the nighttime, I can't fall asleep.
This guy's a hippie, bro. Like peeps out there. Matty Church is a hippie.
I'm a closet hippie, man. But, yeah, and then I got if you can't smell me through the screen, I got lavender on, so diffusers and shit. But yeah, I mean, on the flip side, getting back to perspective is they don't have our perspective anymore, and the reality is the same way I don't know what it's like to be a 20-year-old anymore. Dwayne Johnson has been a millionaire for 20 years, but we don't have that perspective like they have either. You could say some shit on this podcast and be like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. And you know what? 10 people might unfollow you.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that big a deal.
He says some shit that's wrong, and Nike fucking cuts his deal.
You're like, you're done. You're out of here.
You're out of here, and it ruins them across the.
Look at Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah, man, he was getting down with the get down. He was doing He was doing the Vi Coco, right? I think he was doing some.
Yeah, and he got
shit.
caught with some chicks, and then and then cheating, and then that's when Nike dropped him.
Yeah, man. So I mean, we don't have that perspective either, but. I don't know which perspective I want. Somewhere in between, maybe, right?
I want to have So, what is your goal with your podcast? Like, what do you want to attain, or what's your dream?
Oh man, and if I'm keeping it 100, dude, I've had goals. I've had a goal about having a platform where I could bring people in, motivate, educate. With COVID-19 in 2020, and you're not going to have large venues anymore to have speaking engagements. So, that kind of I had to kind of shift my mentality. But, keeping it 100, I've had things happen in 2020 that had really shift my perspective and forced me to just think about first is right now I just want to stay steady with my platform. For me, I want to get better at podcasting, and not for the reason to blow up, but I want to bring more value. And I think right now, a lot of my podcasts, I bring a decent amount of value to people, but I want to get better at it. And the balance between life and doing your podcast, is perfecting that craft. And again, the podcast that I've done recently with Coach Micah B, this one that I'm doing right now with you, this feels more comfortable than some of the ones I've done in the past. And again, guys, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm learning.
Yeah, totally. So this is this will be published my only third one.
Yeah.
That I'm publishing.
But you seem very comfortable in it, and I think I'll have to really stretch myself and grow into evolving my podcast. But for me, I really want to just have a platform in the future that, it sounds cliche, but everybody wants to be a Joe Rogan. And I was going to say before you asked me this question is, the beauty about a guy like Joe Rogan and about living your authenticity is that he's not afraid to say what he wants to say, because he's not worried about somebody dropping him off, because the people who already fuck with him, they fuck with him because he just is what he is.
Oh, yeah. And the guy's been around for a long time.
He doesn't have a persona. He is Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
If he gets on there and he's like, fuck vegetables, you know what I mean? Because he eats meat. Right?
right.
He's not worried about the meat people who...
Dude, Traeger grills, this is what we do. We fucking kill elk.
And
then we eat them.
Yeah, we
love it.
Buffalo burgers and all kinds of shit.
Gets me pumped.
But that's just him. You know what I mean? Exactly. Don't you wish you could shoot animals and eat them and not waste?
That's what I want. I want to live on a big piece of land, man.
Yeah.
My goal is
to the big island.
Yes. Well, it was to move to the mainland, but that's what my goal is. I want to be able to have a home here in Hawaii and somewhere probably Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And then just that's what I do.
I'm along those same lines, man. But ultimately, dude, like, my platform, all those things they have in the mainland where they have people that they have those events where you go there and you can be motivated and you can learn and you can do all these things. Like, I want to bring that to Hawaii because I really think that, we have so much more potential.
God, that's
over
a great
here.
idea.
We have so much potential over here. And the reality is I don't even like on some real shit. I'm saying this on a podcast. I've said it before and I'm not afraid to say it because I don't care if somebody takes the idea and tries to do it, because the reality is I just want people
to do it.
Like,
so that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna reach out to Aaron Sakai from Sleep Time's Over. You already hung out with him, passed out some turkeys.
Dude. He's a cool cat, man.
I'll try to get Mark from Me Hawaii. Like, I think we should just do a mean collaboration and
we should, man. We should, man. I mean,
I'm hoping everybody's down. I think people will be because it's for a positive perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we're talking health, we're talking wealth. We're talking, even like, there's so much positivity with like, and I'm going to speak this, and I want it to come off in the right fashion. There's a lot of women empowerment, women connecting with women and being able to root themselves with each other. There's not a lot of shit out there for men to be like, hey, how do we become better men? How do we become better fathers? How do we become better sons?
Yes.
You know what I mean? How do we become better providers?
Besides church groups.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, the reality is there's so much potential in Hawaii. And I think, I want to bring those things here, and I don't know how. And that's why when people ask me, like, what's your thing? I was like, that is it. And then right now it's just like throwing glitter in the sky. I don't know where it's going to stick, where it's going to land. I think
that's what you have to do is put it out there and let the universe start pulling it in, right? So now, right, it's out. Yeah, we're calling out some peeps on here. Like, hopefully, for
sure,
they hear
man.
it, they see it, and we move from it. And I think that's the biggest thing, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. But let's ask you, man. What about the Mully, dude?
Man,
so what is the goal for the Mully, dude?
Man, and that's the thing is, I'll be on a selfish real level. It would to be picked up, right?
Right.
Whether it's like on,
it's not selfish.
Well, and it wouldn't be picked up as a podcast. It would be picked up as like a host for some network television, whether it's the Cooking Network or Discovery, something where I'm talking, because that's
right.
That's what I do. I talk, right?
Yeah.
I've been in sales for 20 years, leadership for 18 of it, emceeing at the nightclubs, the bars. Shout out Shaq Mililani. Thirsty Thursdays at the Shack. I missed that, man.
Man, dude.
Dude, we were just doing it right before the pandemic. We just brought it back. DJ Deliana Judah. Judah was doing it. My homie Nick, Simply Ravishing Enterprises, was holding it down, and I was hosting.
Yeah.
And we were bringing.
Was I Thirsty doing anything with that?
Not the most recent part, but they've done a lot, like back in the mill.
Yeah.
With Jad the Mill,
right.
And then we were doing. Well, Nick was doing it more. I want to say we, because I got to give all the credit to Nick and Simply Ravishing Enterprises. But I was his MC. Osna would come, and Osna helped us actually, even at the Shack with Judah, the line of Judah.
Osna, the DJ.
Yes.
He's my intro music on my podcast.
That's so funny. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's I want to get up on the show too, because he and I talked about a conversation about, like him and his like persona, because that's like it's almost like a character, that's what it is. And like the goal for me is to network and connect, have fun, like, because this is my release, and connect with new people. And I do want like there to be like the positive aspect. So, like that's just at the beginning part of the show, is to hear other people's struggles and to know that when you struggle and to overcome adversity, that's just a normal thing in life. And don't give up. Like, do not give
quit.
up. Yeah, don't. It's right there. Dude, if you want to hear it like hardcore, follow this gentleman right here. He's like, don't fucking quit.
Don't fucking quit, man. And you know what? I made that shirt because I'm going through things in my life, and I'm not fully, going to touch on all these on all of them right now, just of the timing. But I made that shirt because, man, 2020 was a mug, and don't fucking quit, dude. Like, just stay steady. And the reality is, sometimes, like I say, take a break, but don't break. You know what I mean? Take a knee, man. And sometimes
you take a breath.
Yeah.
But and then you get back up and keep going.
Yeah. And sometimes if you got to take a knee for 2 weeks, take a knee, man. Like, but don't fucking
quit. and I think that's a big thing for me is that, you know, in the latter of these years, I've been bouncing honestly from like job to job, right? And it's always in a leadership role, you know, but then and that's where I took a hit. Like this year, I was like, man, I'm making like almost like right off the salary off the top, like 30,000 less than I was making last year.
Man,
that's a heavy thing,
hurts.
right? And that's where I valued myself. I was like, I valued myself as $1. And then I realized like that's like nothing, you know, like I became a Knight of Columbus for my church. I've been giving back in a different way, you know, whether it's the food drives, just even ushering at the church now, just because of the COVID and, you know, helping people that. And, you know, I'm the community director where I'm supposed to be doing like for like basketball and all that, but there is no community events. We can't do anything. So I'm like, hey, you know, in that aspect. And then, you know, taking the risk and doing this platform, like we talked about it, like how hard is it to do this? And it's not. You can literally download an Anchor app and record right from your phone if you want to make a podcast. Right. But my goal was not to. My goal was I wanted a full-blown production.
Right.
Like I wanted Joe Roganism immediately from the get-go.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, I'll spend the pretty penny to do it, and I'm not afraid to teach people how to do it. But at the same time, like you got to do the research, you know, learn. Like, you know, I'm not going to give you all the answers. And then I think you were right. Is the biggest thing is putting yourself out there and getting the guests. Because I thought, that's going to be the easy thing. Then I'm like, well, yeah, if I interview my friends, but then, and even a buddy of mine was like, hey, you know, like I love the show. I had a hard time connecting with some of the guests, you know, your last two guests.
Right.
Then I was like, okay, well, that means that I need a diverse level of guests because one show doesn't define us, right?
Exactly.
Right. And, you know, you might not like an episode, but then you're waiting for the next one. Okay. Okay. I didn't like you know, they talked about this or that. But the next one is like, you know, I got a stripper on here or something. And like, oh, yeah, I want to watch that one. You know, like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? The cool thing is this, is that, you know, regardless of who you bring on the podcast, whatever your platform or your mantra of your show is, every one of those people does that. So if you had a food podcast, you could bring on a stripper, and what do you eat?
Food.
She eat food. Right. You know what I mean? If you brought on a basketball player, you could be like, well, what do you eat? They eat food. So regardless of whoever you bring on, you curtail that to what your platform is about. And I mean, the reality is, you know, for me, my podcast is about, you know, health, wealth, education, motivation, things like that. And you could ask anybody, whoever they do in whatever job, they're going to have, there's so many similarities to people who are successful.
Yes.
And I mean, that's the beauty of it. So, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. It's just, you just got to get a diverse set of people, because that allows us as podcasters to be able to experience different people.
Right. And become better at doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Let me ask you this. Talking about motivation, man. Sorry, I'm like taking. I love
it. Well, I mean, it's a swap cast. That's what this is.
Let me ask you this. You know, what was your biggest? Because you say about you want to get picked up, okay? But again, we talking about like motivation. What is your biggest motivating factor for doing this and putting all this work into it? Because you're not putting this in right now and being like, okay, my biggest motivating factor is I want to get picked up. Because if that's your biggest motivating factor, I mean, that gets you through when it's easy. But when it's hard, it's like nobody you know, say Kobe Bryant. When you interview Kobe Bryant, it's like,
that's a great person to even bring.
It's like, what do you want to be what do you want to be? I want to be the greatest NBA player who ever lived. But what's your most motivating factor? I want to be the greatest Kobe Bryant I ever could be.
Right.
So what's your motivating factor, man?
You know, so my parents, they came from nothing, right? Like, I wouldn't say nothing, but, you know, like, my mom's a director at a hospital, and she started off as a janitor. That's what she did, man. She fucking was on her hands and knees scrubbing toilets, right? Now she's writing the safety procedures and dealing with OSHA and going to conferences in the mainland. Like, she's about it, like,
Right.
and my dad didn't even speak English. My dad's from Guam. He didn't speak English. He was like 7 or 9 years old, like, and they came out here and we started off. We used to live in Koa Street, Wahiwa. We were, food stamps.
Right.
We didn't have anything. And now my parents were able to build a foundation and buy a beautiful home, and I want to make them proud, and like that was a big thing, is I want to make them proud of who I am. And for a long time, I thought, I did, but I wasn't proud of myself, because of the shit that I was doing. Like,
Right.
yeah, granted, like I have these job titles, I was making money, I was pushing 6 figures, but I'm out at the bar partying my ass off, and
Right.
and like I do believe in my heart that I've helped a lot of people grow and develop into better versions of themselves. And I put a lot of that forward, but now it's time for me to be the best version of me. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a motivating factor. And then of course my son, he's 7. And I want him to see that you can do whatever you want as long as you put in the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I spoil the shit out of him, because that's my baby boy.
Yeah,
Like I love that guy, and there's only one of them. You have children, you understand how it is, man.
3.
Like, right, 3. Like shit, I don't even know what I would do with 3. But you know what? I know, because I would have probably given up that party lifestyle a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But for me, it was running with it, and and falling back into bad habits, right? Because like you said, we are from those habit forming. And really what it is like when I look at like the people like John Gordon, who like I always mention is right. And John goes to Clemson and works with Dabo Sweeney, and he wrote a book with Damon West, The Coffee Bean. And Damon West, people don't know Damon West. Damon West was that quarterback that ended up going on dope. He was like the next big thing. He was going to go to NFL, and ended up getting on dope, and then they were called like the Uptown Robbers, because they were robbing all these like high rich people, because he was a mastermind. The guy was a genius, right?
Yeah.
He got hurt in playing football, so he was the pain meds led to meth, right? And he went in jail. He got out of jail. Now he's touring the country motivating people.
Right.
And that's what it was. Like how you said, like, oh, I want to be a motivational speaker. Deep down, like, man, like maybe that's why we connected this year. Maybe it took these things to happen,
Right.
to be where we're at, and to do this, and, like to take the risk to do the podcast, because it doesn't have to be, me motivating. It could be a team. And I think that's what it was, is I just was so focused on just me doing it alone.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, you know what they say, right? And if you want to, and I think Brother Brian Moniz said this, he posted this, and it's a famous saying. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with the team.
yes, 100%. And that's very true, because we can go up the ladder as quick as we can, but alone, right?
Yeah.
And when you got to bring people with you, it takes time, right? Because we got to be on the same wavelength. We got to put in that struggle. One might be faster than the other, but we're going to be there to support each other and go that extra mile.
But you know what? I think in pictures, right? So I think about it like this, right? Like all these things that we want to do in life, there's kind of like a first layer. There's like a first hill that you got to get over. And the reality is, like, you may want a team, and some people may have teams of their friends that they all start from zero. But the reality is, like, if you're trying to connect with other people who are moving, right? You got to move by yourself at the beginning.
No, and
but what it is that you and me are me or whoever we try to work with, we're at that top of that first hill, and we're looking at each other like, okay, we can't go any further, maybe.
Yes,
but let's hook up. We'll get to this next level.
Right.
But that first level is a by yourself level.
100. You have to do it.
You got to show commitment, and you got to show some, like, okay,
yeah, that grit.
yeah, you got to show that like you can do on your own.
Well, because otherwise, no one's gonna want to team up with you either, too.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's 100%.
And I think that too, because like and I've working in a corporate atmosphere and leading teams. I put them first, and at one point it was selfishness, because I wanted to just get it promoted as fast as I could. And then when I really dove into it and really wanted to drive, like one of my, you interviewed her, Kiara.
Yeah.
Dude, she and I worked together, and I was her manager, and we did not see eye to eye at all. We did not. No. And now that's like a sister to me, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of things is you got to earn that respect from people sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I came in with a heavy head and like, fuck, I'm the man. You know, I know what I'm doing. I put in my time. But she don't know me from shit from Shinola, you know?
Yeah.
And you earn that respect with people. You put in the work to show them that you truly care. And that's when things blossom, you know, and things progress from there. So it's
for sure, man. You know, I was thinking about what you were saying earlier about, you know, wanting to make your parents proud. And you know what I was thinking about it like this is, like if I ask you right now and say you don't know exactly what your kid wants to do, right? But you ask him, hey son, what do you want to do in life? And he tells you something, right? Oh, dad, I want to be an astronaut. Dad, I want to be a firefighter. Like your first answer to your kid right now would be like, I want you to be happy. Go follow your dreams. But I think sometimes what we forget, even though we're at this age, that they want the same thing for us. Like if you looked at your kid and you told him, daddy wants to be a podcaster. I love podcasting. You know what your son would say to you?
let's go.
Fuck that out. In his mind, he's like, that makes you happy. I want you to do it. So when I look at my kids, like, I think the best way to make people proud of you is to do what makes you happy because that makes them happy. Our kids want us to be happy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my kids love watching my podcast. We'll be on the TV and we'll pull up YouTube.
Yeah.
And like, Dad, can I watch the We Are H.O.O.D podcast?
And then how cool is it too, right? Because my
they
son
love
loves YouTube, right? And
Yeah. They wear my hats. They wear my shirts.
see, that's what's up. I love that shit, dude. That just pumped me up. They give me the goosebumps right now. One day we were, I was in downstairs, and I was in a financial seminar for one of the other jobs I do, and my son was sitting right there on the ground because he wanted to be with me, you know.
Right.
And you know, right now I'm a trainee, so my broker does most of the work for me.
Right.
Right. And so the presentation's on. And my son's like, hey, can I, is it okay if I talk? Because he doesn't want to, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, you're good. So he grabs my phone and then he's like, my son can draw, bro. He can draw.
Really?
And then, you know how everyone's like, oh, my kid can do this.
Yeah.
No, but the people are like, no, your kid can draw. And I'm like, yeah, he can. So he's in there with the camera and he's like, all right, guys, today I'm going to teach you guys how to draw. What Pokemon was it? Kyogre, the Kyogre Pokemon. All right, first you go like this, and he was just jamming, and that's because the influence of YouTube now is heavy on our kids.
Same thing.
And I was just blown away. And then he's like, "Hey, Dad, I know that you got your channel, but can we have one together?" And I was like, "Boom!
Why not, man?
Right? Why not? Even if I make it private, right? Because I don't know how I feel about exploiting my son.
Yeah,
you know, like I mean, sometimes I'm like, man, maybe he'll blow up, you know?
Hey, look at that one kid who does the toys thing.
Right.
Millionaires.
Science toy review.
Yeah, my kids do that all the time, man.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, man, like, you know, he wants to. I was like, why not? So I think I'm gonna. Like,
I think it would be a good idea. I've thought about that with my kids too. I think
why
it'd be
not?
awesome.
Right. Just and I was thinking, you know, like you publish certain ones, and
Dude,
some of them you keep it private for the fam.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you just call your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, and be like, hey, go on him and subscribe to his YouTube. You know, what I mean? Like, bro, he'd get a kick, dude. Leave him comments.
Yes, like, hey, good job, sir.
Of course, dude. Of course, man. But that's why when you told me he was doing a podcast, I was like, fuck yeah. I love it. Like I must have had at least, 6 or 7 people, have conversations with me and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do a podcast. I was like, dude, what do you need? I don't know all the shit, but yeah, you need design. I can help you with that. I'll just do it.
So I want to do a collaborative one soon, very, very soon, right? Because this thing can do 4 mics plus a call-in. So we're going to have 5 people on at once. So I want to do that. I think that'd be freaking vibe, bro. We get some people in here, legit. And that one just like, for total legit. Bullshit. Like I don't know, just have some fun with it. Yeah. So I definitely want you in that group, man. That's gonna be
man.
fun.
I'm down, man. I'm down,
fun,
dude.
man.
I'm down, man. Always down, bro.
Any fun. So I mean, like another part of the Mully is, like in golf, a mulligan. And so if you had one do-over in life, Mr. Matty Church. If you had one do-over, what would it be?
Oh, man. It's not like, can I wish for more wishes type of one? Because I had a lot of do-overs. There's a lot of do-overs I think I think about these kinds of things all the time. And people say things like, oh, what you did brought you to where you at right now. And I'm like, I get that. But I mean, I know I've done things.
Yeah, my last guest, Josh, was like, I wouldn't change anything because then I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, for me, I would change a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
I would change a lot of things. And I don't believe in like that that like Back to the Future where since you're gonna mess up the space time.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
glad
nah.
you said that because we're after this question we're gonna go into the party phase, bro.
But and this one may seem slightly shallow based on the conversation we had, but I think I would have it might have led me into different things in my life. And again, I wouldn't change if I could change something but then still have my kids and the life that I have now,
there
those
we
type
go.
of things,
Yeah.
then definitely. But I think
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. if I could change anything, I think right out of high school, I think I would have pursued sports out of high school.
Oh, that's a nice one.
For me,
So what did you play in high school?
I played basketball, I played volleyball. I played all 4 years. I made like second team all-star for like
really?
OIA West. I was like athlete of the year. And I'm not saying that to like be like, oh man, he was this. But in my mind, I'm like, a lot of guys nowadays going to we didn't know about Div 2. We didn't know about NAIA. We didn't know about JCs.
Well, nowadays it's different, man. Like
Yeah,
the coaches
it's
out there, they hooking up the kids just to get out. You know?
So I graduated 22 years ago, 1998, right? So, and I'm saying it's old. So, but back
I'm
then,
99.
back then there was no YouTube. There was no like.
No, they wouldn't have none
You
of this
had to get a
influence.
letter come to you. You didn't just call and reach out. And then I remember a couple of cats that I went to high school with for Pro City. Justin Oleole, my good friend Brennan, they all went to like JC's in Long Beach and played volleyball, and we never had no concept of that. So I think if I could have done something different, I wish I would have pursued that just for the experience of it.
Yeah.
Just for the experience of it. But I went into the military. I joined the Army National Guard right out of high school, so it's kind of a little bit of a twist on it because. I loved serving my country, and even though I have varying perspectives and opinions on the whole United States and Hawaii and all these things like that, I'm still glad that I served and I got to meet and do a lot of things in that time frame. But yeah, I mean, if I had to, I would have pursued sports right out of high school, man.
I think that's cool, man.
Yeah,
I think that would have only brought even a broader perspective and things for you.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I was decent enough. I'm not a really big guy. I'm a good sized guy. I was in really good shape.
I think you're a pretty big guy.
Yeah, I think
Speaking of sports,
yeah.
So the homie Jason Roundtree was saying that when you guys were kids, you guys used to play
Yeah,
basketball in the
dude.
neighborhood.
Hell yeah, we used to ball out Crestview Park.
Right.
man.
And I heard
Yeah,
that you
dude.
guys used to like give the adults a run for their money.
Oh, we used to. I mean, on some real shit, man. We used to run the court. We used to run the court because, it was. I remember being like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And like, we could just run all day long. You know what I mean? Like we could just run all day long, and we knew and we played so much with each other. So like we knew each other's game. You know what I mean? Like
Right, you knew how to set it up. You knew what was going down.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when there's some new cats coming on, you're like, shit, we got them. It's done.
Exactly. Like we had my brother and Jason. They were like really rounded players, so they could handle the ball, they could jump, they could shoot. I remember Jason, he was really good on point guard because he was a smaller cat, but he could dish it really good.
Oh, very
he
good.
Had really good
he
vision.
would drive in and then boom.
Yeah,
I used to get hit in the face because I wasn't ready for it.
Exactly. Yeah, but you know what? He looks like a smaller cat, but he's a tough ass motherfucker though. Like you remember, he used to ball up.
Oh
and
yeah,
he used to go
gangsta
in.
as hell.
Yeah, man. And then like my boy John Breschneider, he's like a 6'4". We used to call him Bird.
Damn.
He used to sit in the corner and he just chuck trays. You know what I mean? So we all had we all knew each other's game. So yeah, we
That's
used to run
funny
game.
shit.
We used to run game hardcore. Shout out Jay. Yeah, we used to run, man.
Oh, he's gonna be pumped when I tell
Even
him.
Barnaby too. Barnaby used to come and ball with us
with
too.
you guys too?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and Barnaby was like as tall as he is now in high school. You know what I mean?
I know.
He
What's
was-
up with that, man?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He was tall, but yeah, he had skills too, man. That guy had skills too,
I
man.
used to hate playing with Jay because he did this like weird underhand thing.
Exactly.
Because everybody thought he's going up and he would just go under.
Yeah, but he could lay it. I remember he could lay it from far.
Yeah.
He was before because a lot of people don't realize like before that whole layup from far, like chuck it like halfway. That wasn't a popular thing back then, but he could do it.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
He had game.
I'm gonna talk shit about his shot too. Like he had that double wrist shit going on. But that shit worked.
Hey, if it goes in, man, it's like golf, man. As long as it goes down the fairway.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly.
Yeah, as it goes in, it goes in, man.
Yeah.
For real.
Man, when we used to work together, man, we used to work at 24. So he was our assistant general manager, and I was the sales guy. And then so at the end of the night, so like from 7 p.m. or 8, because I had to work till 9. So they made me work 11 to 9 shift because they knew that I couldn't wake up because I was out partying all night. So I couldn't wake up in the morning. Because I remember, how come I can't have an opening shift? They're like, bro, you ain't going to show up to an opening shift.
Or you're going to come straight from the club.
You could barely make it at 11. And I was like, oh, touche. So like, yeah, so 8 o'clock, they're all playing. I'm like, fuck, I want to play. Like, what the hell? He's like, all right, go play. And then, so we go play, and then if a guest comes in, like, bro, we be sweaty. I'm like, hey, yeah, let me take you around. Like, bro, just because we're 21, 22, to see young guys that think we know everything.
Yeah, man. That was a long time ago, man.
Oh, those were good times.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. They used to have some games at Mililani 24.
Bro, that half court was going off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Shit was going, bro.
Yeah, it was. Except those lights, man. When the lights would come on from that one angle.
Oh, yeah, you were bust.
You
were bust. That's why, like, if anybody came up there, you were done.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
I don't know. It's like a CrossFit type setup over there.
Over there now. Yeah. That's cool, too.
It's that court. People will not know what went down on that basketball court, man. Some good shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, man, so what's good in the hood, man? Like, what kind of music you rock?
Hey, man, like on some real shit. I listen to everything, dude.
Yeah.
I can't say I listen to everything. But you know what? I listen to a lot of crazy shit. Like,
we can't play music, right? On YouTube, they block that shit out.
Yeah, they'll block it. They'll block it. But I mean, like legit, dude. I'll listen to like Andrea Bocelli one day.
Okay.
I have some Andrea Bocelli, and then I'll listen to like that, like some Ice Cube the next day. I'll listen to some fucking Operation Ivy. I listen to oldies, Beatles, Motown, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin. Everything and anything, man. Like I legit listen to all kinds of music. The only thing that I really don't fuck with is country music.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I've
been fucking with that a lot lately,
I don't
bro.
fuck with country music.
Man, I like it because it's like it's like so real.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I just, you know what, keeping it a buck is my dad never listened to. So my influence of music is from my parents.
Okay.
So my dad he's a music connoisseur, like legit, like everything rock and roll he can tell you.
Ooh.
And then my mom really is
Love
like
rock.
a Motown. She liked that early 60s, like that disco type. She's a dancer. She likes dancing. Like, what I mean? That's her thing. She go to when the party's on, like she's going to get up and dance, and my dad got to get up and dance.
So she was one of the ABBA dancing queens.
Oh, she gets down with the get down. So, and then, just growing up in the 80s and the 90s, hip hop was a thing. So, I mean, early on, like I can remember the first tape deck that I had. My first tape deck my dad bought me was, I got a Beastie Boy CD, the Ill Communication.
Oh shit!
And,
I love me some Beastie Boys.
That was my first tape deck. I thought it was a shit because I had a little boom box, right, with 2 speakers.
Yeah.
And then I upgraded from that one. Then my first CD was Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? And then I bought the Beastie Boy CD. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm a music lover, like legit.
Yeah, I love
have
music.
to have music. If they made school in song form, I'd have been a fucking genius. Because like, I could hear a beat, just the beginning of the beat, and that's what I remember you saying about. I was telling you about the thing. Is like, hey, that sounds like the guitar from Friends.
Friends, right?
Just because my ear hears sound, like, and I recollect it so good. But yeah, man, I love music.
So your brain works in pictures and song,
dude. When I'm doing podcasts and when I'm talking to people, like I picture things when they talk to me. So I'm visualizing everything.
Nice. Yeah.
So constantly, but that's how my brain works. I don't know if it's a good thing, but sometimes people tell me like when I look like they're talking to me, it doesn't look like I'm paying attention, but I am. It's just I'm processing it to get the visual. It's a weird thing.
Are you Biggie Smalls in them? That's how we're going on.
Biggie Smalls in them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, when you were telling me about like, yeah, I come in sweaty, like I'm imagining because I can still remember what the 24-hour fitness Mid-Atlantic thing looked like.
Right.
I remember the little basketball court was right here, and then you gotta be like, can I get a ball? And they give you this. They used to have the shittiest balls over there, man. They had those no grip, fucking like powdery outside, like it's all slippery.
Well, it was actually good balls, but
Yeah,
once
but
they
it
got
got
wet,
wasted. Yeah,
it
it
gets
got all
wet
fucked
because
up.
they were indoor balls.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'd fuck them up.
on the outside, but then after that, there's like no grip. It's
Oh, it's
like
done.
trying to dribble with a paper
Yeah,
bag
it was
around
like
it.
a fucking fluff ball after
Yeah,
that
exactly.
shit.
But yeah, man, I fuck with all kinds of music, man. I fuck with all kinds of
Yeah.
music.
I love music, man. Like I always ask my guests that because like music is like music has gotten me through some shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Man.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, there's a song for every feeling that you got.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes
Ooh,
it's
I
like
just
they wrote.
Boston more than a feeling.
Oh, turn it down, dog. Not just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hey, but from the clubbing days, did you ever feel like when they was playing some gangster shit and you walked into the club, like right when you paid at the front door,
It was
like you
like-
felt like, yeah, that's my shit right there.
Yeah,
Because
oh, yeah.
nobody else in there felt that way. It was just your song.
Right, because you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, man. I fuck with all kinds of stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually. It's funny you say like I've actually had a couple times where I DJ'd. So my.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I did. I did one full. I can at least say I did one full DJing event. Like I spun for like 3 hours.
A long time.
Legit, dude. Legit. It was at an event for a business event, and then they had a gala. And I used to play the music for when the guys would go up on stage and come up. They'd be like, yeah, can you play this song when I come up? And then be like, yeah. So I would cut the songs on and be doing all of the music in the background. And they asked me, hey, we're gonna have a gala. Can you DJ? I said, sure. And like I was only used to like cutting on one song at a time.
And you have to like go back and forth. Right?
Yeah, so I had to like keep spinning, and like I legit studied and I freaking found all the songs, and I learned how to like line them up by like not just beat, because you can have beat, but you have tempo, and you have key.
Yeah,
are you gonna drop it on the beat or the snare, like all of these different things, and like legit. And I remember they tell me, okay, so we're at this gala, right? So they have my I have my whole DJ thing set up, right?
Yeah.
And then I actually have a set of like these like digital turntables, and I have,
You still have that?
yeah, and I have a DJ program on my laptop and everything. So
Yeah, I was gonna do all that Serato and all that stuff.
I got
man.
Serato on my.
Oh!
I got DJ Pro. I got Serato. I got a whole little
This is
DJ
just
thing.
getting me way
I got
too
a,
excited,
I got a,
bro.
I got a beat machine and everything. So, anywho, we're at this gala, right? So they're like, okay, so you're gonna DJ at about 8:00. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then they got a Hawaiian band on before me, and that's my friends, right? They're playing music,
Yeah.
and then they bust out and like. They're having hula and everything, and then I'm like watching it, like, oh shoot, they playing live and the hula and this and that, and then like they play another song, and I'm like, yeah, and then he goes like this. He's from across from me, he's like wording to me like, "You're on next." I'm like, I can't fucking hear you, dog. He's like, "You're on next," and then next thing I know, they're like, "Right on, thank you guys. The DJ's gonna be coming on stage. We appreciate you guys." And I was like, "Oh shit." I fucking ran over there, I turned on my shit, and I was like fumbling. I couldn't find a song. And the first song that I could see that I knew was California Love. So
California
Love!
Love!
At this black tie event, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, California Love. And I just but you know what, dude? Honestly, that was one of my highlights. That was a highlight of my life. Like it was one of those highlights, because like I literally DJ'd for like, and here's a crazy thing. So this is how people who
That's
know
good.
me.
You set the precedence of what that night was gonna be about,
Dude,
by
and here's-
dropping that song.
And here's the thing, though, like people who know me know, like I put effort into when I want to try to do something, right? So I planned it out, dude. I played all hip hop right at the beginning, so I get everybody off on the dance floor. Like I played like good hip hop. And then I started kind of like blending it in like to hip hop, but then some of the songs that are like hip hop, but then they came from like 70s disco. So
Okay.
then like I started fading it into that, and then like I kept fading, and I would kind of go back and forth between like dance songs, because you can't play gangster rap the whole time, right?
Right.
But I played it at the beginning to like get the party going, and I faded into some just like disco, some hip hop, some party songs, and then like I played like the poppy type hip hop stuff too, and then at the end of the night I played reggae. So the hotel people come up to me and they're like, hey, you guys gotta cut the music already. You guys gotta cut the music. I was like, one more song. Like, no, you gotta cut the music. And I was playing freaking Police and Helicopters. I was fucking playing all that shit. He's like, you guys gotta cut the music. I said, one more song, Uncle. One more song. He's like, okay, one more song. I play fucking Red Wine, bro. It's like a 6-minute song.
Right,
dude.
right.
But I freaking jammed it on and everybody fucking like came on the dance floor. It was like, bro, I was banging that shit. It was like, welcome to Jam Rock. Bro, I was blasting it, dude. 3 hours I spun, dude.
Dude, that's awesome.
Legit, my first and last time that I did it. Like,
That's crazy.
But it was just literally going back and forth, like finding a song and like going, looking, boom, like timing, and then it worked out good. It was one of my fucking best times I ever had.
That's awesome, man.
Best times I ever had, man. But I put some work into freaking.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. I give respect to DJs because DJs, here's the thing about DJing, like, if you're spinning, and not against any like house DJs, because that shit is just hard. It's hard to DJ, period. But like if you're DJing house, the beats are like boots, 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 boots. But when you're like a DJ like an Osna who's spinning like regular hip hop, like to mix an Ice Cube with a Biggie Small song, dude, like it can have the same beat, but if the tempo and the drops is on,
yeah, you gotta master that shit.
You gotta, yeah, dude, like legit. And I didn't. I just. Some of them was like, just cut this shit at the beginning because I was all fucked up. They didn't fucking warn me. But it's all good, man. It's all good. That was my only first and last of DJ Matic Church. Yep, that was it, man.
Dude, that's funny shit right there.
Yeah, man. It was all good, dude. It was all good. Definitely.
Yeah, so I said that I'm gonna I'm losing my hair right in the front.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shave my head in this area and then put a toupee on.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, and then I'm gonna get extensions for the back, and then I'm gonna have $1 million mullet like Riff Raff right out the gate. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for at least one show.
Why not, dude?
Like I think it's gonna be funny as fuck because I'm gonna rock in here with my fucking Oakley razors, right? And I'm gonna have this mullet, and people are gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
That would actually be. What is that? What is that movie? What's that movie with the minions and the freaking and the spy? Remember that one? It's the cartoon. It's the cartoon movie.
Despicable Me.
Despicable Me. Remember
Yes.
the Despicable Me 2 when he fights the guy?
Oh yeah, with the bubble gum.
Yeah, but he has a mullet with the spikes in the front.
And he has a big bald spot in the back of his head. Yes, sir.
That's what
Bald
it's
is
gonna be.
beautiful, baby.
Bald is beautiful. But mullets are mo better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. Like I know I've been fucking with that Riff Raff shit just because like he's like a Florida gangster rapper with a mullet. Like that shit just gets me. I'm like, man, I love this guy. Tiptoeing in my Jordans. Like, what? I love it.
Man,
I love it.
Shit right there, man.
Man, I got hooked on this show, Future Man. Was it Future Man? Shit, yeah. J-Ro was the one who told me about it. Jason,
really?
It was on Hulu, and it's like time travel,
Yeah.
80s,
Yeah.
heavy influenced,
Yeah.
and I'm all about that, dude. Like Back to the Future is in my top movies.
Yeah,
man.
that's a good.
I love that, dude. I love it. I really want to.
Where
get
we going? We don't need roads.
roads.
Dude, but the 80s had the best movies, dude. The 80s had the best movies.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, the like, not to knock music nowadays. Music now is great, but like, man, the lyrics, they meant something, you know, like
Yeah.
even into the 90s, like they meant stuff. Now it's
The
just
80s
like,
were like the love ballads. Like,
oh yeah, you had the
oh,
hardcore.
Yeah, they were freaking awesome, dude.
You know, you had like the White Snakes.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I'm put on the spot, I can't think of it like anything. I can't ever. My brain doesn't work like that. Error.
Yeah.
But like
Buffering.
yeah, like but like Motley Crue Home.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. I love that song,
Yeah.
and I think I loved it more because of that show Californication. I don't know if you've ever seen that though.
No.
Dude, this guy's just like a full on. He's a writer, womanizer. Like the guy doesn't even have to try and just gets laid. I'm like, I love this show. Just all he does is do drugs and fuck women. Like, but he's trying to get back with his baby mama like the whole time. Like, and then I don't know. I have to just spoil. At the end, I think they get back together. It's kind of like fuzzy, but like, I think they just had to end it. Like, it was getting canceled. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Do you remember that? Like when they had when all the writers went on strike?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Heroes was a big time show.
I remember that.
And then
TV show,
that show went fucking sideways.
Yeah.
Because they had all new writers. And then they just
Right.
started going crazy. And like, I was like, they ruined it, man.
What's your TV shows you watch now?
What am I watching now? I'm actually watching Arrow on Netflix. CW Arrow.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
I don't even know what that is.
Bro, it's fucking badass. So he's just like, he's a billionaire playboy. He's like Batman.
Right.
So the guy like ends up on this fucking island, comes to find out his family's corrupt as shit. So now he comes back to right their wrong. So what happened is I was watching League of Legends. And League of Legends is very much like the Marvel, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. Buffering.
It's a comic book.
No, so what is? God damn it! It has to be over there. What is the Marvels one? The one where they have all the 70s songs in it. It's like the best. Peter Quill. Gamora. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, so League of Legends is very much Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very like funny,
Right.
quirky comedy. When I got to the last season, it's all blended. So that's the thing. So the Marvel universe, all the movies are blended, right?
Okay.
So with the CW DC universe, all the TV shows are blended. Ooh. So The Flash, Superwoman, Arrow, League of Legends. So they're all blended together and it all rolls in.
They're in the same world.
They're in the same universe, right?
Yeah.
So what's pretty dope is on the last one now, there's all these other ones. There's like the Doom Patrol, which is on HBO Max. They're all different Earths. So instead, they're all different dimensions.
Wow.
And I guess League of Legends at the very end, the Arrow, he fucking like sacrifices his life because all the worlds blend together in one universe. It's all fucked up. And I'm like, shit, like I didn't even watch any of this stuff. So I watched League of Legends and then I had to go watch the Arrow. And the Arrow is super gritty, bro. It's like gritty. Like he you know how superheroes don't kill people?
Yeah.
No, this guy kills people.
Really?
That's why I'm like, oh yeah, this guy went from playboy philanthropist, like, Iron Man, this guy, womanizer, to comes back from his experiences on this island and he's just shanking and killing people, bro.
Jeez.
I know. And you're like, what the Arrow? Who the hell is this guy?
That sound very intimidating, the Arrow.
I know. They call him the Hood. They call him the Hood. I just thought of that right now. What are the chances? Oh, because he wears a hood, and but dude, I really dig it. The first season has 23 episodes.
Really?
I'm like, how do you have that many episodes? But I'm digging it.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
not.
I got excited. Like I got really excited right there. You're like, I don't get it.
I don't watch TV that much.
Oh.
I really don't. I think I watch the TV show. I watch the most thing that I probably watch on repeat, and this is gonna be weird. I love Christmas, so I'll watch Christmas stuff.
So you watch Hallmark all year?
No. Here's the thing. I only watch movies.
Oh, so I'm
like Home Alone.
I was gonna just say that.
Home Alone. I'll watch
Harry, I've reached the top.
But I watch like Home Alone. My kids love watching that, and
I love Home Alone.
What is the Polar Express, things like that.
I've never watched Polar Express.
That's a good movie, dog.
I heard it is. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I like Christmas. That's why. But then I do watch Star Wars stuff all the time.
I love this guy right here.
Boba
this
Fett.
is my favorite.
Boba Fett.
I have him tattooed on my thigh.
Really?
Yeah.
Is his gun pointing towards your gun?
I'm obsessed with Boba Fett, so my son is obsessed with Boba Fett, which is great.
Yeah, it's weird is that they made the Mandalorian, but he didn't have a really large part in any of the original Star Wars movies.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing is the guy that had the smallest part had the biggest impact. I think one of the biggest impacts in the Star Wars universe. And I really hate the fact, I really hate the fact if you don't know this, but they're saying, so there's two versions of Jango Fett. One where Jango Fett is a true Mandalorian and but he was like outcasted. And one now that he is not even, he was just a bounty hunter. So Boba's clone father was just a straight bounty hunter that's like stole or found it. Yeah, there's two. Because the whole George Lucas Disney thing, it like jacked up everything. So you have like Legacy and all these different universes now.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude. Boba Fett is a Mandalorian. I don't care what anybody says. And he did not die in the Sarlacc. How can the best man ever fall into the Sarlacc, which takes 1,000 years to digest? Like, he got out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of Mandalorian, I know you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just feel like it's
It's pushed.
I watch it because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I feel like, and when I say the show, you're gonna be like, yeah, I get it. It's like they took Star Wars and Quantum Leap and they had a baby, because it's like he's just going into everybody else's story. And I'm like, okay, so you started off, you got the baby Yoda, and you're like trying to find what you're supposed to take him. And I was like, go with that story. Like now he's like, the last one, he was like, he went into the town and he saves them from the giant fucking worm. The other one, they had the fucking, the town where it had all those people and he kind of fell in love a little bit.
Yeah. But he couldn't take off his mask.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
it's because they have no content. They have to like make up bullshit.
That's why. And then I think they have different, I think they have different producers or like people who are
write each episode.
Yeah,
but isn't most shows that way? Like even Walking Dead's that way.
I don't know. I never watched Walking Dead because I don't like slow zombies.
Well, you like the fast kind, like
28 Days Later is my favorite zombie.
Yeah, that shit
movie.
is scary, bro.
That is the fucking.
They're fucking like.
Yeah, like fuck slow zombies.
Because they're like it's like rabies, not
who dies from slow zombies?
Well, I guess because like the true nature of a zombie was supposed to be Night of the Living Dead, where they were reanimated.
Yes.
Right, and then they evolved into this. Like fucking, you get bitten like almost like a vampire. Yeah, they did. They blended vampiral shit with zombies.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it evolved to. But
but when 28 Days Later came out, that was a scary fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, that guy would like freak me out. Like how they made their face like whoa, and they could hear you.
Yeah,
because all their senses were like
heightened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, if I had to be in a zombie world, I would want to be in Walking Dead zombie world.
Okay, so if you were in a zombie world, like so right now, a zombie outbreak takes place. Where's the first place that you would post up?
Well, first I'd have to go get my kids.
Of course.
First place I had to go get my kids. Where would I post up? Fuck. Because we're on Oahu, like fuck.
I know a place where I would take over.
I wouldn't fucking say it. Don't say it.
I know.
Just tell me on the side.
I kind of don't want to give it away.
Yeah, man.
So Ian, the Ina girl, my first guest, like we already have it, dude. We've already been planning this shit since like, oh my gosh.
But
like
it's not about it's not about knowing where to get there. It's about knowing how to get there when the thing happens. Because wherever you're at may be a variable to where you want to go.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like if you're fucking in Waikiki and you want to post up in Wahiwa, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, he probably ain't gonna make it.
Yeah,
because of free and plus our infrastructure here sucks.
Yeah, dude.
I gotta do is somehow find a way to get on this rail that's not in use and run across that thing. Because it probably won't be in use for another 50 years.
I know for sure, dude.
All right, so I think we should play a game.
Okay.
We'll take a video break. They won't know. We'll take a second to, and then we'll just edit it. But, we'll do that real quick. All right.
Well, you gotta piss.
I do. This is the second time I had to do this.
He's taking a piss break.
So it's been done in many shows before, but we're gonna play. Would you rather?
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's other people do it because it's just still funny as shit.
Yeah. This is like, everybody's interested in each other, man. What's
I have to pull out my handy dandy notebook to get some of these things because I had this before. So this is a pretty good one, man. So you can only hear one song for the rest of your life.
What song? Okay, so I have to pick a song? Or you're gonna give me choices?
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you two choices. Well, no, I'll give you the choice. I'll give you the choice, but you can only hear one song for the rest of your life.
Fuck it.
It's wait. I'm doing Would You Rather, right? Yeah, what am I doing?
Okay, so if it's Would You Rather, you got to give me choices.
Okay, yeah. So Would you rather for the rest of your life hear Bohemian Rhapsody or Ring of Fire?
I gotta go with Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's kind of an easy one, though, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I love that song. I that's one of the songs I sing at karaoke.
Oh, me too!
Yeah, except I don't hit the high part anymore.
Oh, man. We're going to... This is a blossoming friendship. Like, this is going to be great. This is going to be dangerous.
That's one of my favorite songs of
Yeah.
all time.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well,
Yeah, I love that song.
why is that?
Oddly enough, it reminds me of a really good time when in my life when I was young and I was playing soccer. And it was this summer where I was playing at a Kirkbanks tournament for AYSO down in Waikiki. And it was the time where that song was remade popular by, what is that movie?
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. So, you know, like we talked about songs and memories. So
Yes.
it reminds me of a really good time in my life when I was playing soccer. And it was a really good summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And my Hanai grandma, Grandma Langsy, every time we go to karaoke, she always wants me to sing it for her.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was an easy one then.
Yeah, that was easy. That's an easy one.
Would you rather be an ugly genius? I'm talking like butt fucking ugly, okay? Butt fucking ugly, or a hot moron?
Oh, man.
I know, right? Good looking, Fabio, like whatever.
And it's kind of a weird combination because I'm a hot genius right now. Yeah. Edit that part out. No. Shit. You know what? Like, how ugly is ugly, though?
Oh, we're
Is
fucking
ugly
ugly.
like pimples ugly, like fucking, like giant fucking pus moles, or you're just
Oh,
like,
like maybe like the guy from Scary Movie. It's my strong hand.
what about like the guy from 300, the fucking hunchback dude?
Not that bad.
Okay.
Not that bad. But ugly. You know, fucking ugly. Like when girls look at you, they're just like, ugh.
Ah, fuck, man. A fucking really, really butt ugly genius. You know what? I'll take butt ugly genius. You know why? Because I'll be smart enough to figure out how to make myself not ugly anymore.
You're still gonna be ugly, but you're just gonna have like one of them. One fine girl will be like, I love him for his mind.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're probably rich too.
Yeah, I'll be rich.
That's all it
you know what
is.
I mean?
She'd love you for your money.
Exactly. That's all that matters.
Okay, so your body is found dead. You're found dead. Okay, you're found dead.
Okay.
All right. Would you be found on a pile of sex toys or a pile of drugs?
It's fucked up because I don't do drugs. So I'd probably be found on a fucking pile of sex toys. Just keep it at 100. Like, hey, man, why not? What would you rather be found? Hey, you know what? Some people would be found on both.
Hey, that's very true.
I mean, because they have those giant sex dolls now, so it could just be a pile of those. You know those fully functional ones?
There's like full-on ones now.
Yeah. I mean, you can blow your load in them and everything. Did we just say,
This is definitely the Mully,
did we
baby.
just say blow your load on your podcast? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather eat an entire pie filled with baby diarrhea or eat powdered sugar mixed with dandruff shavings? This is fucked up shit, bro.
Okay. A pizza,
No, so like not a pizza pie, just a pie.
a pie.
Yeah, like a custard
baby
pie, but it's
diarrhea.
all baby diarrhea, or like powdered sugar, mixed with dandruff.
You know what's hard about that one is like the baby diarrhea is just too hard. It's just gnarly. But then I'm thinking about trying to eat fucking such dry food. It would be like,
Powdered sugar with the
yeah,
dandruff.
like it wouldn't go down fast.
That's why this is a fucked up question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd probably have to go with the dandruff thing because I think maybe it just doesn't have as much flavor.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
I think I would go with that too. This fucking
that's
baby
fucked up.
diarrhea, like
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
probably once I put it in my mouth, I probably start puking.
Fuck, I
The
don't-
smell, yeah.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, dude. I'd go with the dandruff.
This is a hard one for me. Okay, so would you rather give up for the rest of your life cheese or oral sex?
mean, like,
That's hard. That's a hard question.
well, it depends on what kind of cheese and what kind of oral sex you're talking about.
The best of each one.
Fuck, that's an easy one, bro. I give up cheese. Wait. Yeah, I give up
You
cheese.
give up cheese.
Cheese, man.
Damn. So no pizza. I guess you could have pizza without
But
cheese.
then again, it's relevant because, like,
No cheeseburgers.
because it's kind of. But then, like,
Dude, pasta with no cheese?
yeah, but okay. So I was gonna say, there's kind of depends too, because, like, what if you're only getting oral sex once a year, but then you can eat cheese every day? So it kind of depends on how much oral sex you're getting.
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting oral sex fucking on a regular, it would be a fucking blow to your oral sexness to fucking get it taken away.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you a cheese lover?
Yeah. I think I would just. I think I want the cheese.
You'd keep the cheese.
I think so. I know. It's a fucked up question, but
I'm going with I'd give up cheese. I mean, what do you expect? I'll be found on a fucking pile of dildos. What are you expecting?
Yeah. He gave up cheese. That's why he's with
Give
the
up cheese.
dildos.
I died on the fucking dildos.
Drink a glass full of expired chunky milk. Or eat a bowl of moldy strawberries.
Fuck. You know what? I'd go with the milk, man. Milk's gonna burn. Oh fuck. Well, milk's gonna burn, but the moldy strawberries, you might get sick.
Or you might have the cure for cancer. Like penicillin, you know?
Yeah. And if I'm going with oral sex, I might need penicillin.
See, these are fucked up questions. I knew this was going to be good.
Yeah. Right now, DC's like, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yes. This is the games.
Yeah. It's all twisted up here, man.
Yeah. So which one was it?
I'd fucking probably go with I'd go with the fucking the milk.
The milk.
Yeah. Fucking mold, like you can get sick.
You know why you're going to go with the milk? Because that's the closest thing to cheese, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. Would you rather have a vagina on your forehead or penises going down your back like a stegosaurus?
Dang, man. I think I'd rather have the penises on my back.
This is just so fucked up. Like,
I think
either one, you're fucked.
Well, one, you're fucked.
The other one, you're doing
yeah,
the fucking.
yeah, but then
You'd be a huge porn star if you had that on your back.
yeah, like
They take it riding to the next level.
Yeah, like they're actually like riding you like a fucking horse.
Oh, this is definitely a rated R show.
Yeah.
My god. But this is a good one. Would you rather give your significant other unrestricted access to your browser history or your parents?
I mean, honestly, I'd give them both. I don't care.
Oh, damn.
Like, cause I'm like, I don't care. Because everybody's got YouPorn on their fucking browser history.
So I do private browser. It doesn't save.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter to me, man.
Oh, this is a funny one. Would you rather have to sprint every time you use your legs, no matter the distance, right? Or you have to yell every time you want to say something?
See, so no matter what I do,
Like, no matter if you're just walking right here, you're gonna go whoosh, you're like sprinting to it, or like every time you want to say something, you're yelling.
Okay. Am I okay?
Yep. Every time you use your legs, you're sprinting hardcore, and every time you talk, you're just.
What
yelling.
if I got a wheelchair?
No. There's no what ifs.
So there's no wheelchair.
No wheelchair.
Okay.
Your legs work perfectly fine. In fact, too perfect. That's why you're sprinting everywhere.
Oh, shit. That is a fucking hard one. I'm gonna go with.
Next ones are fucked.
Fucking sprint. I'm gonna go and sprint everywhere. As I'm
Can
thinking
you
to myself,
imagine
like,
that?
fuck, I'd be in good shape.
Can you imagine that though? Like,
I'd probably die of a fucking heart attack at some point, though.
like right now, you're gonna have to leave my room, and you're like,
And knocking shit over.
I'm sorry. I guess I would have to just crawl everywhere. Right? I guess that's the.
But you can't. That's what you said. There's no fucking caveat.
No, it just says every time you use your legs. Oh yeah, and you're crawling, you're using your legs.
Yeah. Unless you scoot around on your butt.
Oh, there you go. And why are we even thinking so hard on it? That's crazy. Ooh, would you rather fight Mike Tyson once or talk like Mike Tyson for the rest of your life?
Do I get anything else besides talking like him? Like, do I get his power or something?
No. That's you either got to fight him one time. And when I say fight him, we're talking like fight him in his prime.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
Or you got to talk like him forever. Hey, welcome to.
That's a pretty bad freaking...
Welcome to the Hood We Are Podcast. This is your host, Matty Turts.
Dude, you sound like Daffy Duck and Adam Sandler combined. You sound like Daffy Duck and Adam Sandler had a baby. That's what you sound like right now. Oh my god. Fuck. I'd fight him, bro. I'd fight him.
Oh,
I'd fight him.
I think I would fight him too.
Yeah.
I just hope I
like
don't die.
Yeah, you just gotta hope that just take a bad hit and get knocked out fast.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to stay in there and make it a game.
I think I'd just fake it. Actually, I wouldn't fake it because even a body shot, I'd probably break ribs.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that he at his prime, he was fast enough that you wouldn't even have the opportunity to fake it.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Just done.
It'd be like ding dong. That's it.
It's over.
Done.
Just hope that you don't die.
You probably you just hope that you don't like legitimately die from his power.
Oh, isn't that fight coming up this weekend?
Oh, him and Roy Jones.
Yeah,
the geriatric fight.
Is that tomorrow?
Yeah. Do you think they have like extra fucking like EMTs out there with like?
I know they have oxygen masks everywhere.
Yeah, they have oxygen. They have fucking like.
I guess we're gonna have to publish this soon because the things that we're talking about are relevant to the time. Oh my god. Oh, would you rather come every time that you fart, or fart every time that you come?
Isn't that the same thing? Oh no, it depends on
the circumstance, right?
Shit.
Told you these are fucked up questions. I actually asked this on my first one, and that was awesome. And
see, the question is, have you ever farted when you came?
I'm pretty sure I have.
Yep, at least a little freaking. Sometimes you get in the good in the fucking toe curler. And it's just, I guess I'd fart every time I come.
Yeah, I think
because
so
I
too.
fart enough where I
I fart so much times.
I couldn't afford to be ejaculating all day long.
Me neither.
I'd have to fucking wear a diaper, just a backwards diaper to catch all.
Imagine that thing, right. You're talking to
would really change, and it would change how you would really eat. Because there's food like that you eat right now that you know is gonna make you gassy, but you just risk it. It's not a big deal. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna get the wicked fucking.
Yeah. Like so. Seltzers.
Like tomorrow, you're drinking all these weird beer. You might have super gas tomorrow.
And you know what? Actually, I'm not bloated right now, which is nice. So I might actually do this again because what I noticed is everyone's drinking seltzers, right?
Yeah, bubbles,
bro. And I man, this is fucked up to say, but so when I was managing the club in town, the gym in town, like we'd go out like a lot during the week, right? You know, I had my son on the weekends, and during the day I would drink like Perrier and stuff because it felt like I was drinking vodka sodas. That's how fucked up I was. So I would drink sparkly drinks all day because I was like, oh, it's like I'm drinking alcohol all day. Dude, that's fucked.
Just to get the effect.
No, yeah. I just thought about that because it gives you that, that mental.
Yeah, like
Like,
they're at the club.
Yeah. Oh, man. Forget what I was going to say. But yeah, no. So those other ones though, yeah, like dude, my stomach is just like
Get the bubble guts.
oh, dude, like heavy. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd
Fart when I come.
fart
I just let the girls know, like, hey,
Yeah.
the girls. You like how I said that? Oh, I'm in trouble. But hello, ladies.
Yeah.
When I get off, don't worry. I make a funny sound.
Now here's the next question. Like, would you just let them find out the first time and apologize for it, or would you tell them up front?
I don't know.
Like, hey, just,
I don't know.
Hey, girl, girl. I know we've been seeing each other for a while now. I just want to let you know. Like you getting all down with the get down. She's at your house, and you're just like, I just want to let you know.
When I'm really excited, I just tend to pass gas.
Yeah, when I'm gonna let one out of the chamber, there's a little bit of a backfire. Or does it just happen and then you give it up?
Yeah. It could be that too.
Or you could just fake it like you cough. Like,
Oh man, dude, I could like do this like literally for hours with you. This is ridiculous how fun this is.
Yeah.
Now I get why Rogan's podcasts go for so long.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the reality is this too. I mean, like, and you know what? We should do it again because, we got a lot of this first conversation stuff out. And then a lot of times, next time, and I'm sure we'll do another episode.
100.
We'll have more of maybe a direct topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's what Joe Rogan does with a lot of his guys. And like you said, I mean, I'm by no means like a seasoned podcaster. I only have 26, 27 podcasts. You're at 3. You know what I mean? We're not seasoned podcasters. You know what I mean? So I mean, the guys like Joe Rogan, and he has other people who, you know what I mean? They're popping stuff up on his screen, telling him what to talk.
Yeah, you got the guy in the back, the producer Jamie, helping him out, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people that he has on his show, they're professionals too. They're and it's like I was telling Brian Moniz when I had him on my podcast. He was telling me, he's like, Matt, you're a good conversationalist. You can carry a conversation. Things I talked about at the beginning of the show, you brought back later on, and
later,
talk about later. And then I said, well, it's really easy because he was at a very high level. He played pro ball in Canada.
Right,
he won the Grey Cup. He was standout at
So
UH.
Brian's old lady,
he's used to freaking being on like interviews. You know what I mean? So
is like my good friends, like
Kealohas.
yeah,
I know.
Ian and Chauncey guys. I know that's why it's so crazy how like small this freaking island is.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah, good family. I know their cousins, the Garcias from Eva Beach side.
Oh shit,
Nicole,
crazy man. Yeah, Nicole.
Yeah,
love Nicole.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, like Brian, he's been in interviews, like legit interviews.
Right.
So like he can go. So like Joe Rogan, there are guys who are coming on the podcast. They're like professionals. They get interviewed all the
Right, you
time.
got like Shapiro on there, right? And that's all they do
exactly.
is just do that kind
like
of stuff.
we're just having a conversation and we can
Having
carry
a
it for
good
like
time.
5 hours.
Yes. So if you had something to leave our guests that are listening tonight, what would it be?
I think I love the fact. I'll just tell you this much, and for me, it's just a part of my mantra for We Are H.O.O.D. is I love the fact that you're doing your podcast, man. I love the fact that you're putting yourself out there, and support people who are trying to do something outside of the norm. And although a lot of people, social media right now, you can get on live, like Instagram Live,
Right,
It's-
Facebook Live,
It's
all
not
that.
the same as a podcast. It's similar because of the conversation, and it's definitely value in that. But putting yourself out there, man. I just want to say I'm happy for you. I'm proud of that you're trying to do something, and I know you. I know you have a gift for it, and I think that's one thing to be able to share other people's stories and create conversation. So for me, guys, if I tell anybody, someone out there, like I say, someone out there you may never meet, I'm gonna tell you this because I really believe it. Someone you may never meet and you don't know them right now, needs to hear your story. And that's why you gotta keep doing your podcast, and that's why you gotta stay connected. And even you guys out there too, whatever you guys want to do, just go and do it, man. Like legit, I'll tell you guys before we end. When I wanted to start my podcast and my brand, I literally drove down to Lids and I had them make me a hat that said "We Are H.O.O.D," and I had Matty Church on the side. And I told myself, now it's real. So if I let it fail, then I let it die. So
that's heavy.
Whatever you guys want to do, you guys can do it. I mean, I've gone from, and I'm not by no means some kind of a mogul. I got like 800, 900 followers, right? But I got a handful of people that fuck with me all the time. You know what I mean? They buy my gear. They wear my shit. I've had a friend, make me my sticker that's on my truck. You know what I mean? It's like, Chess out in Kona, shout out, man. Made me he literally just was like mailed it to me. It showed up. You know what I mean? So I mean, guys, you guys can connect and you guys can do a lot of things with just putting yourself out there and just being yourself, man. Doing the best that you can, man, for sure. Mully Podcast, man. You gotta do what you love, man. Do what you love.
That's what it's about. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning in. There's a long one, and I'm not cutting it. I'm only going to cut out when I use the restroom. Seriously, like it's a long one, and I hope that you guys stuck through this all. And I appreciate everyone that fucks with us. You know, like the people that care enough to support us and support myself, and it means a lot. Like it wasn't an easy road to do this. Like like it's not easy, but it is easy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, you just got to go out and do it, man. Chase your dreams. Have a good time doing it. And enjoy what you're doing. Like, I like to fuck around and have a good time, So, but at the same time, I like to motivate and inspire people. So,
for sure.
Why can't I get the best of both worlds?
You can. It's called the Mully.
And it is. It's the Mully Podcast, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I cannot wait to do a group one with you, man. Yeah, we're gonna get some people together, and it's gonna be.
We'll do a bunch of these, man. We'll do a bunch of these while we stay connected, but for sure.
So thanks everyone. We appreciate you. We are H.O.O.D in the building. Matty Church hooking it up. It's your boy DC and MIC signing off. The Mully
Church. What's up, family? It's your boy Matty Church from the We Are H.O.O.D podcast, holding it down for my boy DC and the Mully Podcast. Go check us out. He's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram. Check him out. And if you don't know, you better ask your mama. Church,
the Mully. Thanks again for listening to us. Thanks for having Matty Church in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mully Podcast.